All right, and we are live, and welcome to the Destiny Crossover Star Wars podcast.
Oh, my lord.
And I'm your host, LordCognito, here with the last word on that Thursday evening, usually Destiny Campfire. Here with the cheetah. How we doing, sir? It was a little spicy cheetah today. How we feeling?
Happy May the 4th. I'm just trying to make sure this podcast goes in a forward direction. So,
I feel it.
let's see. I played Stray Blade for about 4 hours. Interesting style. Beat Jedi Survivor. And
nice.
fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
That is, so there's a dichotomy of games. PC got so chunky in frames, I probably saw 2 frames per second at some point, and I will still tell you that game is amazing. Versus a game that I got a code for and yet to download it because it is so just bad. So
Broken.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been an interesting week for gaming, but yeah, we got a lot to talk about in the world of Destiny. They're always keeping us busy there. Travis, what about you, man?
Also busy, man. I got a couple trips this next couple weeks. Doing stuff for games coverage. I've got a game called Diablo 4 that I'm working on the
What?
review
I haven't
for,
heard of that
so
before. What is that?
Oh, what's that? That's a
Yeah.
little indie game, right?
Little indie game, Diablo 4,
it's a little indie.
which I guess the codes came in a little bit earlier than we were expecting, and now I've got to move around my other reviews this month to focus on that. And yeah, it's a busy time. Also playing some Destiny. Got to represent the Titans over
There you
here,
go. Indeed.
who are running away with it, as we all knew they would.
Rest in peace, Lance Reddick. Rest in
I was like,
peace.
it's all for Lance this year. I have no.
Rest in peace, Lance Reddick, though. We got to make sure
Can't
we
really say
bring
anything
that
about
there.
that.
That's fine. Well, he was a Warlock main, so
That is true, but
yeah.
we
So I don't know.
identified as a
I
Titan.
mean, should the Warlocks be doing a little better? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they should.
When Joy's
Who
rigged,
knows?
but
Is it rigged? last year it was rigged. I think we can all agree on that. But yeah, how about you, Cog? What do you got going on?
Chilling. Lot of reviews and content coming as far as Xbox giving me a lot to talk about.
Yeah,
lately.
they gave you plenty of minutes this week.
Yeah, get a lot to talk about, but actually played a lot of Destiny yesterday. So I have a lot of thoughts on Guardian games. I have a lot of thoughts on these weapons and then Strand's Scout that I'm kind of liking. It's kind of 200. Got a weird name, Thorax or something.
Taraxipos. I had to look. I literally had to look it up. I was like, all right, how's this word said?
You know what
I
I'm
just
saying?
call her Terra.
That's
Tara,
probably
what's up?
better. Yeah.
But yeah, if we're rocking that, we'll get into the logistics of it. But yeah, other than that, been good. And then we got a great guest returning back, man.
Don't have a massive intro, sorry to say it, but we do have an amazing returning guest. He's been here multiple times. Friend of the channel that I've known probably longer than the show even existed, I think. Mano, how you been, man?
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Going on?
We're good. How are you? You're the guest.
Things are good. I've been really busy IRL with a bunch of stuff that's going on around where I'm at, which is why I haven't made a video in like a month, but I'm hoping to get back on that train with the new season. Games, I'm looking forward to Diablo and Zelda.
Nice.
Like when those two come out, like I don't have codes for them. I'm not fancy, but like I'll play, I've never played Diablo on PC. I've always been, I was one of those casual, like I didn't have a PC when Diablo 3 came out. So I just played it on console and loved it. But of course, doing Destiny and doing all those things,
What's weird is Diablo 4 is kind of better on controller. Did you play it at all during the beta?
I
did
It's
not.
like, it's like weirdly very good controller friendly. Like I don't know if that's an intentional change because there's more players there, or at least people who pay for the game, or what the plan was. But yeah, kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's really good, man. It's so good on both.
And then Zelda, that's surprising for a streamer. You streaming 480p or what?
I may stream Zelda. We'll see. I did a little bit of Breath of the Wild, but all right. My thing is like Zelda is like one of those games that I don't think of as work. Like I don't think of as like something I have to. It is like the last time Breath of the Wild came out, because like I'll give you the story. When I lived in South Dakota, I lived in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I was teaching there and stuff like that. But that was when the Switch came out for the first time. I got the first, like they had like the early release of the game and stuff like that. Like in all of South Dakota, I had the first Nintendo Switch in the state. And I was like the first person that got to, because like I was the first person in line at Best Buy. It was great. Got like the collector's edition, but like I never played it on my TV. I always like played it when I was traveling. So it's like that game.
Yeah.
It like it's not one of those games that I play like constantly. It's kind of like a guilty pleasure game. And so I kind of think I'm going to do the same thing if I'm traveling or do anything else like that. Do Tears of the Kingdom. I'm looking forward to that. I may stream it. There's been some interest. But I think that just like the build crafting options and stuff
it
like
looks
that.
so much fun, but I just can't. I told myself, and I told him this last time, I'm gonna wait until there's some other Switch hardware to play it because
I heard it's chunky.
What a hill to die on.
I was like, I don't know when it's gonna happen, but I was like, I haven't played much Breath of the Wild. I would like to play that and be kind of a way like, if I know there's some Switch hardware coming up, it'd be a reason to come back to it. But I was like, it looks like a game I would play like 100 hours in with the crafting, the puzzle, and just be like, all right, well, how can I put these stupid mechanical puzzles together to do something? And it's like, I would spend way too long doing that stuff, and I may as well do that, just at a later date when it looks a little prettier. It's like I have way too much other stuff to play right now anyway. It's not like my backlog is an issue. Sure, I'm going to miss the, Zeitgeist hype train, but I don't care. I'll get to it when I get to it.
That's kind of like what go ahead, Travis.
My theory is as soon as that game comes out and he starts seeing clips on Twitter that he buys the game.
Ooh.
You guys want to place money on it? Will his stubbornness
stubborn.
How much money would you like to put on
stubborn.
it?
He's stubborn.
He has shown over time. I've tried to test this theory with him, and
it would have to be a blind bet because you live in Texas. We know you stand your ground.
I can't. I like how he always associates him with that.
Wait, isn't that a Florida thing?
Texas has stand your ground laws.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of friends who live in Texas.
Right,
E?
Right,
yeah, I think they do.
Yeah, you guys do. Okay.
Now this is like getting back on the track with the Zelda thing. Is it downscaled? There's like everyone having issues in chugging the previews of the game when they're on TV, or is it like when it's in the portable mode?
I don't think it matters. It's running off.
It's
the
just
same
chunky.
Hardware, right?
It's just chunky no matter what.
Old.
A little chunky.
Well, it was like,
it's like 6 years old.
My example is I played Metroid Dread.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually pretty close to locked at like 60. It was really smooth, but it was like locked at frames, but it does like the resolution scaling thing. There were points I know I was playing that thing at like 540p, and I'm just sitting there playing that game. I'm like, this is a fantastic game. I can't like even just seeing it like what would it look like on a PS4 Pro or anything like somewhat modern like would be even better. That's all I'm saying.
Does it really impact your enjoyment though, like at all? I don't know. I know some people are.
I'm just saying I have the option.
You don't have the option. There's no other platform to play it on.
I have the option to wait because at some point Nintendo is eventually going to do a new thing. That's why I'm saying
they probably will.
They are bound to do it sometime in the next.
But I don't
year and a
think
half.
I don't think it'll be as soon as you think it is. People have been saying the next year and a half for like 4 years with the Switch.
Well, then I feel I was like, I know they're making money hand over fist, but I feel like this is the last one.
Yeah, that's what everybody says. I don't think that they're going to replace a console that consistently outsells every other console in the market. That's how I feel. Until they see that momentum fall down, and I don't see it coming. I think it's going to go the other way when Zelda comes out. So I think you are going to be waiting for a long time and miss out on a game you would have enjoyed.
I still have to play Horizon Forbidden West. That I have so many other games to play. I'm not hurting to play anything. So yeah, and
I talk about this on the Sunday show. I call them the frame rate fascists.
Yes,
they claim that a game can't be good unless it hits a certain frame rate or whatever, benchmark Nazis.
I'm not saying that.
He's not that, but and he admits that the game.
There are a lot of people like that, though.
But there are a lot of people.
There are a lot of people like that
that will shame you and say you cannot possibly enjoy a game if it doesn't hit 60 FPS. A lot of them are saying that about Jedi Survivor right now, a game
I played that at 2 frames per second and had a good time.
Maybe that's the other thing for me is because I play it in a portable mode. I don't really get like I've got like a 1440p monitor like right here. Like I'm not catching all that stuff. Like I just care if it just runs. Like I don't care because it's on the small Switch screen, so it doesn't need to be the best of the best. And again, it's that guilty pleasure. Like I'm just gonna play it for me. I'm gonna play it at my time when I'm traveling. So like for me, it's not so much of a big deal, but if you're streaming it, that could definitely be an issue. 100%.
Yeah, I feel I'm with you because it's like the people who primarily play docked are the people who probably resist the most because I'm with you, man. I play it on the go, so like this is like an amazing experience to be portable. You know what I'm saying? You know, because the screen is small, you don't see all of the fidelity issues or whatever kind of thing. So yeah, but I will side with E on this. Is that coming from this current generation, and he's such a PC guy, and the fidelity he's used to, it's hard to go down to their game sometimes and be like,
I've probably got like 100 hours in Breath of the Wild before I even get to that one. So if I want to play a Zelda game, I've got one that I barely touched waiting for me.
Got you.
So it's like, and
so you don't feel justified to touch. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I haven't even played Breath of the Wild as much as I know I want to. So that's another reason. Anyway.
My problem is like if you ask any of the frame rate fascists, hey, what are your top 5 favorite games? They will cite games from history that didn't run at 60 FPS. And so it'll be like 30 FPS games for the SNES and stuff like that. And so my point is like, if frame rate does not guarantee quality, then why is it useful as a metric? To me, it's really only useful if you can feel it in the game and it makes it demonstrably worse to you, right? Which isn't always the case. Like, I don't really notice when Jedi Survivor doesn't run at 60 FPS. I think for me, it's running like a consistent 50 on Xbox. But that game isn't a game that needs to run at 60. Destiny is a game that needs to run at 60.
Yes, 100%.
Right? And so it's a very different experience, and I think it differs from game to game. And to me, Zelda feels great at whatever it was running at. I couldn't tell you, right? I didn't have a screen frame rate tracker on screen, and people will point that like, oh, there's no way you're enjoying the game. Put the tracker on the screen. It's like, no, who thinks that way when they play the game, right? Like, you think the average player's like basing their enjoyment off of the little green line and where it's at? Like, that's just a crazy way to live. So
when you can notice it, that's the thing, is like if you can make an immersive game experience and make it so, this kind of relates to the Star Wars sequels, like if you have a good story and you just notice it in the background and you just enjoy it.
Oh, Johnny, he started
so, like the prequels did. That great story.
But if you just notice it,
prequels. Yeah.
But if you have like a good immersive experience, it doesn't matter what the frame rate was, because like I guess I grew up playing CRT, like Cathode Ray 2, like Mega Man games and stuff like that.
Mega
so
Man
I didn't
3,
care.
Man, that's our game.
I didn't. Yeah, exactly. So like, as long as it's an immersive experience, because we were talking. You put out on Twitter like a game that released, like I forget what it was, like it released when you graduated from high school.
It was like 18
like
or something like that. Yeah.
What did Max Payne run at? Like, because I remember I love that game. I was probably like 20 FPS.
I mean, you slowed it down. It ran. You slowed it down. It ran at like 3 frames per second. Yeah.
Bullet time.
I think that was their engine taking a break, right?
Yeah.
The hardware taking a break. The
hardware was like bullet time. Yes.
The hardware was like, okay, great. Yeah.
Yep. All of a sudden, you hear your PC just like the fans just turn off for a second because like, okay, we can take a break.
Oh yeah.
The lights in your house get a little brighter.
Yep.
All right, all this ridiculous chat aside, we have a lot to talk about in the world of Destiny, but I do want to jump into Guardian Games first. How's Guardian Games been treating? I know Cog said he's actually been playing a decent amount. So how's it been for you, sir?
I like it. I've been fun. I mean, there's certain events. I'm trying to think the ones I hate the least.
You got Festival, you got Guardian, you've got, what is the summer one? Solstice.
Yeah.
And then winter.
I'm a Dawning guy. I'm a Guardians games guy. I'm noticing. Yeah, like, because what it is Dawning is festive. Because I think New Year is one of my favorite holidays, weirdly. Like, it's like, all right, it's the New Year. What we going to do new? You make all these, proclamations or whatever. And I like the little wintry thing. And they always have the best outfits, I feel, on the Dawning. The Dawning outfits tend to be the best for the classes. So I'm like, all right, cool. Then the cookies is just goofy, and it's just like, all right, we're gonna go get what Eris want. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just goofy. So that part right there, and it's good.
Dawning is my least favorite, Cog.
Really? You don't like it? Dawning? What's your favorite event? I'm curious about that, just really quickly.
Do I have to choose one?
Yes, because you don't like anything, so I need to know when you love something.
I think Travis is a Festival of the Lost guy, if I were to guess.
I would say their armor's definitely the best, because at least they try to have some fun with it. I couldn't tell you the years apart for the Dawning. Every year it looks identical. It's like, I'm a space reindeer. Like, I get it.
It's like,
I've had enough of this.
Yeah.
So at least the Festival of Lost is like, you
Christmas
remember
decorations threw up on your armor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, they're all bad. I don't like
He don't like that. We gotta give him
Yeah.
some joy
I
in
have
life.
no joy.
But-
I have no
He's
joy.
a festive guy, let me tell you.
So I would say that, but Guardian games is fun, and it's just like you come in there, you got a little podium, you cash it in, you hear the little sound, you know what I'm saying, and then you jump on, you hop on the thing, kind of thing. But this year I was like, okay, they're actually doing it. They're actually making an attempt to make this a class competitive thing. So it was cool to be like jumping a party. I'm like, look at my fellow dress wearers. Look at my little warlocks out here. I said, okay, let's start this up. And I'm a huge fan of Supremacy. Supremacy is old school Call of Duty kill confirmed.
Yeah.
That's like, to me, stop the camping, stop just sniping in there. You're going to have to go get that medal.
Yeah.
And then you also got to play defense when your teammates act up and are too aggressive to pick up their medal. So it's this little push-pull. I like that aspect of it. It was fun. I played a couple matches. I will say the strike stuff, interesting, but I like the loot. I wanted a Strand Scout. I didn't realize that the 200s I actually like a little better than the 180s, which I believe is the hung jury. So I'm liking this one. Is the default one an explosive payload? Does everybody have that?
Everybody gets the Zen moment explosive.
Kill clip is on the other side of the.
Damn, man! I thought I was special. I
too.
Well, everybody got that
on Twitter.
Yeah, everybody
I was
got
like,
that, and then everybody got like the God Roll title as well. The title with like 8 perks on it. I got a reload masterwork, and I know somebody else who got a range masterwork. So it's like mine's not the best there, but still.
Right. So to me, the title, I have Unforgiven, the 750 from the what you call it, dungeon. So I have I feel that one's better. But for people who don't have, and I will say this about these Dawn weapons that I like the intrinsic class perk. I love that. Give us class ability, because we got our pugilist, we got our demolitionist, but give us that. It's very underrated for specific builds. So yeah, so far I've been liking it. We just got to see, how it goes. I'm curious to see if you and Trav continue your ticket war about content. I'm gonna really see if that's going to rear its head up from last year.
War?
Yeah, the ticket,
the
card,
the event card.
Yes. Because I watched your video.
We got money things to talk about in this episode. Yeah. We do. So
real quick, because I got
we do. That's a big thing.
I wrote an IGN news story about it right before the show about the price increase stuff. So
okay, and then I watched your video about you were very keen to stress, because this is completely optional. This is completely cosmetic.
Yeah,
I already know where this is coming from.
100%. But like people, it's YouTube comments. I read more than I should, but I still try and get an idea what some people say, or if people ask questions, I try and answer. Yes. Usually that's what I'm trying to do. And if people are assholes, I just skip over it. Yeah. But no, it's like when it comes to the event card, it is 100% optional. Now, the triumphs are the same as if you want the seal and you want to check the boxes in game, fine. But if you want to buy any of the cosmetics, it's going to cost you some money. So I don't care. I feel like that's just one of those things. Like, I just don't care. Like, most of the time when it comes to like ghosts, I get tired. The fact that ghosts are not just ornaments anyway is kind of a weird a thing to me. Same thing when it goes to like the emotes. I'm like, if I get it, cool. If I don't, no big deal. That kind of stuff. Like, that's the stuff I'm not really going to ever freak out about, because there's plenty of stuff. I don't have like all of Eververse. I never will. So it's just that I just don't care. And that's just why I try and emphasize. I'm like, if you want this stuff, this is how you get it. If you don't want it, it is optional. You choose to spend the money. It's up to you. That's all I've ever thought about it. Like,
the real question is, who bought the chair finisher?
Oh, because God, I thought about it. I thought about it.
I bought silver. I don't care. It's the greatest finisher in all of Destiny.
Now, was there a glitch? Was there a glitch where like the enemy like flies away, or is that supposed to happen, or is that a thing that even happens, or is it just like
I think they fly away?
Okay,
I think they fly away. I don't know. They could do some different stuff with the but I will tell you, like, I allow myself every year, I allow myself to buy silver once. And it's usually like the $20. So I get like 2,000.
So you buy like you buy 10,000 silver one time a year.
No, it's the two. Holding. No, I buy the. I buy get around 20.
Well, I just treat myself.
Which would lead to I'm sure the thing that Travis is going to talk about with the price increase for the seasons, which I think is a giant L. But like I allow myself, I'm like, every once in a while there's going to be something I'm going to want to spend money on, and like the chair finisher is like I've always kind of just like whatever finishers come with the season pass. So the chair one was like, of everything with Guardian games, I'm like, you know what, just I'm gonna buy it. It's such a cool finisher, It's really it goes hard. It's the chair finisher, and like everyone laughs when you see it. So it's just like you're in space fighting aliens, and you just smack someone with the chair like you're in a wrestling match. And I don't even like wrestling for the record. I got like 2 months when I watched like WWF when I was like 6, and then I'm good. So
You're good.
Yeah.
A big miss on having an announcer voice say, "Oh, he's going in for the chair," and like an audience reaction.
Yeah,
That would
yeah,
have been great. If we get the audience there, that would be
funny.
That would have been huge.
Or it's
Great.
just like the John Cena thing comes in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second.
I was just gonna say my problem with the book thing.
Let's go.
Costing money.
There we go.
Is the book is like, you're going around and doing the event, and there's no real big way to say like I'd completed the event, right? Like maybe you can get the seal, but like what is the event? The missions never really complete themselves. You're sort of going forever, and so the book is sort of like your ticket, right? You're going around and you're getting all the stamps from doing the events, and you're trying to mark them off of the list, and then you get rewards off of that. And without the book, the event seems like a loose collection of triumphs that don't really have any relation to one another. You know what I mean? They're not really part of anything.
Now,
The
do
book
some of the
kind
triumphs have like? Do some of the triumphs have like a sparrow, a shader? Some of them
Yes.
do, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
So
They
some of the
have,
triumphs in and
but
of themselves have rewards. Is all I'm
but
saying.
those are individual rewards that are it's sort of like just a grab bag of random loose triumphs that some have rewards and some don't really have rewards. They just give
Right.
you like tickets that aren't useful unless you have the book. And so the problem with the book costing money for me is that the whole reason we're in the free to play model and apparently funding the events is through the microtransactions that are already in the game, right? And the seasons that we pay for. And then you have to buy this book if you want to contextualize the entire event, right? Like obviously the individual items you get are sort of just a carrot, but like the process of going around and marking all the stamps off your book and then being like, "Oh, I'm done," like that's paywalled. That's my problem with it. Is
Would I prefer it to be
the
your
event
way?
feels very different.
Would I
event
prefer
feels very
I prefer if the fact that as you go through and do that stuff that the tickets wouldn't exist, and then if you did like the actual event card, it would be like something. I don't know. They're gonna do the event card. Obviously, they monetize everything. Do I wish it wasn't there at all? Sure. Yeah, of course. That would be the optimal world to be like run around and
But
the event cards didn't
to do
exist.
if they're going to do the event card, why wouldn't they just do a free track and a paid track like they do with the season pass?
You really
way
wanted to
everyone
get
could
that
be in-
complicated?
That way
The free track
everyone
is
can
the
be
triumphs.
included. It's already complicated.
Well, but
The
I'm saying the
triumphs
free
are-
track is the triumphs, and then your
Yeah,
paid
yeah,
track
but
is the event card.
is
I
that-
just
is
don't
that
care
included?
enough about this fight. I don't even want to have it.
No.
Here
See,
we go.
My problem is that you don't care enough.
Ooh.
Frankly.
Fight the
So
fight.
yeah,
Power.
you're saying it would be more complicated. My argument is it's more complicated the way it is now because it's unclear where you actually engage with this if you didn't pay. And so if they would just move the triumphs to the book, right, and make that the main way you engage and then have a free and a paid model, I think that solves a lot of their problems. But the idea that like the book is sort of the main thing you're engaging with if you're a paid player. That's like the goal, is getting these tickets and getting these premium prizes. And if there's no way to engage in the event other than like a loose, disorganized list of random triumphs, then it doesn't really feel like an event. That's my problem. So yeah, I just want it to, I don't know. It feels
do you
like they
feel on
took
the
the main.
You
thing
want a
out.
cohesive experience. If they're going to
Yeah.
put something out, you want something that's a cohesive experience together.
Yeah, if I'm a
feels like
free
something.
player, it should be very clear to me what the event is and what the win cons are for being like I did the event. And I don't feel like that is right now. There's the seal, which is sort of like extra level for the hardcore. But like if you're a casual player engaging with this, you sort of just look at the triumphs and they're kind of in different places in a disorganized way. And then you see the paid thing and you go, this looks like something I can't really do unless I pay money. That's the impression I would get.
See,
The way
like
it's
because I actually have it on screen here. Like as I looked at it, and I think they did this one year. Maybe they didn't. Maybe my memory is
I
faulty.
think
but
you're thinking of D1. That
It's
I feel like
possible.
D1
It's
books.
possible.
The D1 books. I remember those.
But like the reason I think they did this, and like I agree with Travis, like there should be like I open up this book, and this is like imagine like when you go to a sporting event, something like that, right? And sometimes like if you go to like tennis or like you go to like PGA things, like they give you like memorial commemorative things. And like one of the things, if you imagine this as like one of those things, is like there's this book and you can check these things out. right now, the way that I look at it, if I was a designer, which I'm not, I've done some like review and like some study into design and some things like that with my real life stuff. But as I look at this, it's clear that they didn't necessarily design it with like the cohesive experience. It's literally just seasonal challenges, but Guardian games. Like if you look at the event challenges are literally just, hey, we took the seasonal challenge UI and UX concept and we literally just, oh yeah, and by the way, underneath here's the five things? I'm literally clicking into it. Here's the 5 things for upgrading your event card. So I see Travis, I totally see what Travis is like, make it feel like an event. Like, oh sweet, I get to open up my book and the challenges are inside of it. And then if you want to do the paid tier, like maybe like underneath, like in the 3rd or 4th page, the problem, like you get to see the things you purchased. The problem is that if you're like going from like a paying, you want to get people to see the things they want to pay for. Like if you put it at the back or at the front, if you get to put it at the front, people are going to complain because they have to pay for it. If you put it at the back, they're not going to make money because it's not like incentivized. Like, oh, it should be like the first thing if you're looking at.
You could also just make the tickets cost more, and then like make their prizes cost more tickets, and then make it so that if you pay, you get double tickets. But it is possible to get all the prizes if you complete every single triumph in the book or something like that. But the whole idea that season events are already kind of fundraisers, right? They're like bake sales for Bungie to sell all this extra stuff that they
love that bake sale.
Literally the bake sale.
Yeah.
We literally bake cookies in one of them.
Sale.
Yeah, it's like, hey guys, we're having a fundraiser bake sale for the next Destiny thing we want to build, and here's all these emotes you can pay for, and this chair finisher and all that stuff that people are going to buy, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But the fact that that's what it is, and then on top of it, oh yeah, and then there's a $10 entry fee to get into the bake sale. Like there's a cover charge to this event. That seems insane. And the fact that they added that kind of recently is like an extra. I just bristle at it, man. It just feels to me like
there's a ton of monetization that's been happening and it's just like the creeping microtransactions. It's free to try. Like I will not call Destiny a free to play game.
No.
It is not. It is a free to try game. Because if you actually want to get into any real end game things, like I have a lot of people in my chat specifically and on my YouTube videos is that they can't be Guardian rank 11. They cannot do it because they can't do the newest dungeon because they don't have a dungeon key.
Yep.
And so you're stopping them from playing something, and it's just like, what are you doing? Like you can't be Guardian rank 11, so they're stuck. Yeah, and they can't be Guardian rank 11, and so they're stuck. And
do you guys want to talk about Travis's elephant in the room right now? Just get it out of the way.
Let's just go. Let's just go. We're here. We're here.
Probably the biggest thing that snuck in, like from the TWAB today. So
I actually missed this, so I need to be educated. Continue.
Price. We're increasing the price. I'll tell you about it. Like
just go.
The season passes used to cost, if you were buying them a la carte, 1,000 silver, which is equivalent of $10. They're increasing the price by 20% to 1,200 silver, which is the equivalent of $12. And they're charging more for getting the 10 level progression, which is increasing by 10% from 2,000 silver, which is $20, to 2,200 silver, which is $22. So it doesn't seem like much, but it is. The thing that stuck out to me is they didn't really give a reason for it. They just said that they were investing in seasonal content, didn't say how this was helping or what players were getting more, or if this was just an inflation play or anything like that. And importantly, it does not match the packages that they sell their silver at.
Yes,
so if you buy 1,000 silver, you get 1,100 for $10, which means that you would have to make another silver purchase to get to a full season pass amount. They also said that they're not making changes to the season passes for Nightfall, and they kind of said that as like a good thing, but also they physically can't because they already sold that to players. So my guess would be that the final shape is also going to have an increased price, because the only reason they're not charging players who bought it in a bundle more is because they can't, because they already sold that bundle, and you can't.
I mean, the bundle already was more. The bundle was $50 for the expansion, $50, like 48 for the season plus 2. So it was like, because Witch Queen was 80, so it was 40, and then 10, 10, 10, and 10. And this time it was 50, and we're like, but we were getting like, we just thought the price kind of went up. So now it just kind of comes out basically. It's like if you're coming into season 21, that's where the $100 kind of comes from now because the season
Well,
passes
I
pretty
thought
much come
I
out
thought
to
that
it.
was more because now they're selling dungeons separately, right? And so you get the dungeon too. So there's a couple, and you get the
Yeah.
deluxe,
There's a
the
couple
deluxe
things, yeah.
items. There's a couple things that kind of make it a little bit more opaque, but this is pretty like clear, cut and dried that they're increasing the price there. And so I have a bit of a problem with this. I think it's bad messaging. I think they need to change the way that they sell bundles. My hope would be that if you're buying the season pass, you could click on a button that just says buy season pass and it would charge you the exact
I mean,
amount.
100%.
I don't
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a thing yet, but either way it feels pretty bad the way that this was announced as sort of like a footnote in the TWAB.
It was very snuck in too.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it was very like it was in the middle of like some pretty heavy updates.
Mhm.
And like there was like all the review of everything and the TWA this Wednesday at Bungie, or this, they've stopped doing big reviews on Thursday. Now everything is on Wednesday.
Mhm.
But like they snuck it in a way. And you're right. Like as a consumer, like I'm different than like a normal just normal person consumer who's having to choose like the games that they play plus the time and the investment that they're going to take. If you don't have a button for them to push, it's like you can spend exactly the right amount of
Right.
silver.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure that, and I could be wrong about this, there might be some pushback on that from like consumer. Like I think that was a big thing in Britain too, is like you should be able to pay exactly what it costs for the thing. Like I think that there was a big thing with the loot boxes and
Loot
everything that
boxes,
happened with
yeah.
Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yep.
There
Mhm.
was something, especially in like the European Commission, that they talked about like you shouldn't have to pay more so that you could just pay for the thing. Like I don't know enough about it. I'm not in that part of the industry or whatever. But if they don't have an option to do that, I think that's going to be a massive problem. And
Yeah. they
there
need
was
to fix
still
that.
some bristling with the whole idea that the first time that they divorced the dungeons from the expansions was Grasp of Avarice and the
Mhm.
30th anniversary, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And I guess we kind of accepted that because there was also ornaments and stuff that went with that, because Dares of Eternity was free and
Mhm.
Grasp of Avarice was like the dungeon. So you're basically paying for a dungeon key and then all of those cosmetics.
Right.
And that was the first time we let it happen. And then like it's like you get the dungeon key and then you just have the dungeons.
Mhm.
Right. And I just feel like it's just continually they're just pulling a little bit more every single time. You know what I mean?
Oh.
And I don't mind
Yeah.
paying that. Like I want to pay the developers. I want them to, to be able to be successful. And I want everyone who works there to do well. But there comes a point like where you have to give us a little bit of, how would you say, a little bit more
Little slack.
agency. And like, yeah. And I don't know if the quality is going to really increase that much.
Like typically you would increase the quality and then you say, hey, look, we did a lot to increase the seasons. Now we're going to charge more. And I think they're doing it in the reverse order. They're like, hey, give us money now and trust us. The quality will go up later. And that doesn't strike me as a very consumer friendly tactic. To me, Bungie Destiny 2 specifically is increasingly feeling like an airline, like
They're gonna
when
nickel and
they
dime you
nickel
in
and dime
fees
you
and
for every
baggage
little
handling and
yeah, not just that, but also how like in the 1960s, flying on a plane was like a luxury experience.
Yeah.
You're sitting in like a sofa and got like cocktails served to you,
Mhm.
and then they just started like taking away inches away from your leg room and
Even the meals.
just making you more and more in a box and charging you for every little thing that you do, and it's starting to really feel like I'm flying United, and they just took another 2 inches away from my leg room and are charging me 10% more, and it doesn't feel very good, and it doesn't feel like a premium game that charges you for expansions every year.
It
This
doesn't
is
feel like a
full
premium experience, because like
Yeah.
I was always like, why are you divorcing the dungeons from the seasons?
I know. I hate
Because
Yeah.
like just charge us $15 for the season, and then like the math is still the same.
Right.
But like
Yeah.
then everyone has the, oh cool, I want to get this season, it includes this dungeon, and you're good. And then you have the cohesive experience. Then you can't have that argument of which season is better, which season is worse, because the dungeon is part of it. That was the big
Yeah.
thing with Season of the Haunted, right? Everyone was saying, well, that season was my favorite. Well, what did you really do? You ran around the old Leviathan, and the weapons were cool, and the experience was pretty cool, and the story was pretty good. But I know a lot of people who checked out because they did it for a week, and they're like, oh, cool, I'll just craft some weapons. If you do the dungeon, duality is great. I love duality.
Awesome.
But it's technically not part of the season. And it should be. It's themed the same way. It's part of the storyline in a way. And I don't understand why they do that other than it's just more monetization. Just make the seasons cost $15 and call it a day. That's just my take. But
yeah, well, I mean, and the fact that you have like somebody buys an a la carte season, like somebody who spends $12, like this has got to be the only game where you can spend $12 on content that's gone in 3 months, where you can spend $12 on mostly anything, or content goes away that quickly. I mean, the expansions stay around, but I mean, you spend $100 on a season or on the full year of deluxe, and yeah, we get the dungeons; those stay around. So in a sense, we're kind of paying for those, but the seasons go, so it's like you don't even get to hold on. To all that.
Prophecy was free, but I forget why. It was free with Season of Arrivals, right? I think that was right.
Yeah.
So that was like the first dungeon. It was
that
like,
was their model before they just introduced this
before they changed
charging
it.
for specific content. Like it's been so long, we're so far gone that people forget that was the way they used to do business. Like
they just were like
pay for a year of an expansion, and then you'd get everything that year had.
Yeah, like I mean, Whisper of the Worm was free to everybody just because you went to IO and did the thing. You didn't have to own a season to be able to do the exotic mission. And now it's like, okay, you got to pay to play on a lot of different stuff at this point. And
again, I don't scoff for paying for things, but there comes a point where it's like when you go to a sports game and you go for the experience. Well, now you need to pay $10 extra for the extra seat, or like the comfy seat, and then you got to go and you want to buy a hot dog. Well, the hot dog is $25. Oh, do you want ketchup? Then it's $5 more. Oh, do you want a lid on your drink? That's $5 more. So like someone doesn't like.
Let me buy the experience once. That's kind of the biggest thing. Why, like,
let
me buy it one time.
There needs to be a "Don't bother me" version of Destiny where you pay for it and they stop bothering you. They just let you play the damn game.
Yeah,
for real.
You play all the season passes. You get to play all of the Guardian game booklets and all that stuff, because it's gotten to the point where whenever I log on to Destiny for new content, on one hand I'm like, oh, it's exciting. On the other hand, I go, I wonder what they added that they're going to ask me to pay for, because I already paid. Like, it's crazy that you can buy the full year of Destiny and then they ask you to pay for a booklet for Guardian games.
Right.
Yeah,
no, I think for me, where it really hits me is I am the multi-platform Destiny person, right? I'm planning on
buying it twice.
Right. I'm trying to buy the ROG Ally. One of the reasons why, as E knows, the Steam Deck frustrates me is because Bungie's policy or whatever with the Linux compatibility that they will not allow you to play it on Steam Deck, which defeats the purposes. I really wanted to do that. So the Ally suits me because Windows 11. And then actually, I want to test out the Epic Game Store version of Destiny just for giggles, just to see. But what bothers me is they created this whole cross-save initiative to unify all these multi-platform stores, but I literally have all the content, all my paid seasons on one account, and that doesn't transfer to everything else. So if whatever new platform I go to, I have to buy Witch Queen again. I have to buy the seasonal content again. That bothers me, because at the very least, don't penalize me for wanting to try to attempt to play it on another platform when I've already played that. That's the part where the nickel and diming really gets to me. I'm like, come on, Bungie. And we've already had the conversations about Forsaken and stuff like that. So that's the thing. I really wish they would encourage that cross-save, cross-platform environment more by not nickel and diming that. At minimum, discount.
And they're missing a W too, because if you will pay for it once, mentally and psychologically, you think about the purchase up front and you think about it like when you first get into it. And then, like, for me, since I bought Nightfall and all the expansions or like all the stuff that goes for this year, I don't think about it anymore.
Yeah, I don't
like
either.
It's a one-time purchase. So if you're constantly putting psychological stress on your consumers about every purchase that they need to make, you're taking an L. And that's something, like, because it constantly feels more expensive, even though it's not. It's really not more expensive. If you think about, what was it, like $30 for the what was it, Grasp of Avarice dungeon, the 30th anniversary pack, wasn't it like $30? And now the dungeon pack is 2 dungeons for $20, which is better than that. But it feels more expensive because I wouldn't say nickel and diming. It's because they're splitting everything and making it so it's a la carte. Whereas if it was a cohesive experience, you'd say, I want to invest in playing Destiny this year. I want to play for like, I got some time. My friends are playing into it. And when you invest in it, it feels good because like, I don't think about repurchasing the season. It's just done. But then the problem is that just like Travis said, you've got your event card. Why do I need to pay for an event card? I've paid for the year of Destiny. Why do I need to do it again? It just feels bad.
Transmog beyond the first 5 every season.
Yeah.
So there's like, there's no way to catch up on transmog. If you want to have all of the armor you've acquired transmoggable, you need to just pay up because there's no way you'll ever catch up. They introduce armor sets faster than you could possibly clear them all. And I hit the cap every season, by the way, on that. And it's tough because I have to choose which 5 I want.
It's an easy thing to do. If you just play
non-fashion, Mr. Non-fashion doing all this fashion.
I did it like last season, and I didn't even try. It was just like we were doing some raids every so often. It like knocks itself out.
Yeah, those bounties are super easy to complete.
Yeah,
like you pick them up, and then they just get completed by you just playing the game. So there's just too many things they're selling.
So, a question for you guys: what would be final shape? You don't have to worry about now. Granted, there's a line in the TWAB when they mention they're looking at their content structure for final shape, which makes me wonder. I was like, I've been thinking about this for a hot minute because I'm like, season 25. What is going to happen in this crazy game when we do the big finale of final shape? You're like, well, what's going to happen in the next 3 months? Not a clue. I have no idea what they're going to do there, but. Pretend it was a normal like season. What would you guys put a price on to where like what is the leave me alone cost for each of you? I'm curious. What is the like Bungie doesn't touch me and I can just outside I don't even know if you can't bundle all of Eververse in there, but it's like
what does leave me alone mean? Does that mean
everything but Eververse? Everything but Eververse.
So transmog
is covered. Your event cards are covered. I don't know if
$150. $150 is my leave me alone price.
Cog, what's yours?
For final shape?
Just pretend final shape functions in the same way where we know we have 3 seasons.
For a year of stuff.
Yeah, for a year.
A year of stuff, assuming there's one expansion per year.
Yeah, assume it's like this year.
Yeah.
This guy's balling. $1,000. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think you're buying the rest of the show's editions.
Yeah, so basically it's like
Austin, feel free to drop
and the seasonal
transmog, seasonal content, event cards. Don't have to worry about any of that stuff. The only thing Eververse would still exist. That's the only thing that's going to be there.
Probably like price of what a retail game is now, like 70. I'm going in that.
Damn, that's a leave me alone price.
So that's your full year is 70, so less than it is now.
So basically,
because this year was 100.
Like, you just asked Cog like, give me your best offer, and he just slid the paper across the table and said, "My offer is this. Nothing. You get nothing." You know,
I mean,
Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm gonna buy the seasonal stuff, but the content, the expansion used to be like 30, 35, what I remember.
Well, they've slowly trickled up. Yeah.
Right, they slowly trickled up, and then the seasonal content would be like 20, 25. So there I arrived at my, 50 kind of range. And then I'm figuring another 20 for your little, 10 here for a season there of content or access card here.
And you're saying that's an expansion and 3 additional seasons for $70?
The seasons currently are about $10 that are going up 12. So we're going 3 seasons. Not for you, 3 seasons. And so yeah, that's like an 80. I'm still not at the 100. I'm not there.
So you think Nightfall right now is overpriced for the year?
Yeah, because my feeling is like, if I'm gonna buy all in bulk, you should give me a discount. That's just me. Like if you want to nickel and dime me, and I'm like, well, I don't know, I'm gonna get this season, that season, then yes, you should pay the $10 to $12 for each individual. But if I commit to you and I say, yo, let's get married at the top of the year, I'm in, right? Give me the homeboy special. Give me that, between that, 75, 80. Let's go.
Okay.
That's just me.
You're living in slightly a dream world because you're asking for more than we get now for less than what we're paying now. So
I don't think that's a dream world. I think that is a completely reasonable ask, considering that most games you buy for $70 and they never bother you again. And a lot of them continue to support you. Look at Witcher 3. How many years of support have we gotten for that? The only time they've ever asked for money.
Do you know if Diablo 4 season passes are going to be paid?
They're going to cost money. Yeah.
Okay.
They're
I
going
was
full
curious. I
live
honestly
service
don't know.
model.
Yeah.
But they're also changing their model from Diablo 3's. Diablo 3's model was you play the same content, but they've got some cosmetics you unlock, and it was pretty low impact. This is, they're adding story content, expansions, new areas, new classes, like a bunch of stuff. And so the support model is also going to be much, much better. And I think they've proven that they're, Diablo does not appear to be a nickel and diming game. It's just kind of a standard live service game.
And my also comment real quick, my other argument is, again, the price of gaming has gone up, as well as the fact that they still have microtransactions in the game. Tess, you said it's still going to be there. They're still going to be getting the emotes, the dances, and the the thing.
What's your I just need your number. What's your number for your
year? Let's give them the 80. Let's give them the 80.
Okay, so okay, Mano.
That's where I'm at.
All right, so I put my calculator here on screen. I don't know if it actually is showing up or not. I'm willing to pay $100. Period. So if I do the math right here, so it should be, let's say the expansion is $40. Then let's say you get 4 seasons at $10 a pop. So that's $40. Plus you pay for a dungeon key. So that's $100. Plus, if you're going to think about, like, say, for example, you're going to do all the little things that go along with it, like the Guardian Games book and like Festival of the Lost and all those other things. Let's just say that that's $10 for every one of those. So that's 40. I believe in Cogs ideas. If I'm going to invest in you, you got to give me a little bit of a discount because I'm buying all this stuff up front. So I'm willing to spend $100. I could see 125, 100 to 125 for the entire year. But that means you need to give me all the books. You need to give me all the dungeons. You need to give me here, let me get this off screen here.
No,
you gotta give me.
I like the money.
I like that. I like that. Float around your head like
just like
Man.
Sweet. Here you go. But no, like for me, I like the idea of $100 because like I could see $125 if I was a parent. Because that's the other thing is like I still am a teacher. But I used to have a lot of parents who would be like, well, we got to pay for marching band for the year. Like they had to raise a certain amount of money. And like, you have to think about that. Some parents like don't even think about it, but some parents, like they have to like buy shoes. They have to buy like stuff for their instruments. And then if you think about it in terms of like a consumer entertainment product, and you think about that, another way to think about it would be like $10 a month, $120, give them a $5 tip, $125. I could be okay with that, but then you think of it like a subscription service, because I never played WoW. Like really, what was WoW every month? Wasn't there a subscription with that?
It was like $13 a month at probably the low end. If you that was $13 a month if you paid in advance. If you like paid in advance, I think it was $15 a month if you did monthly, something like that.
And they had a pretty big like don't bother me energy with that. Like if you paid the subscription, you were fine.
Oh, that's that's all you paid. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, that's all you paid.
And I like that idea of just like I am investing in this. I'm investing in your service. So here, $125. Like I really think that if all the production and stuff like that, it probably costs $150. But if I'm buying it all up front, I'm giving you all my money. You aren't going to have to sell me on it again. You've sold me on the experience. $125. Like give me a $25 discount on it. As a parent, if you see $150, that's a pretty substantial like thing. And again, we're not paying for all these things for kids, but if you look at Fortnite and all those other things, that's part of the math for some of these people. Even though I don't think Fortnite is the cultural zeitgeist it used to be.
Yeah.
So I could see $100 to $125. I think is right there. But right now, I bet if we add everything up and you're doing it piece, what is Lightfall and everything else? $100.
Oh, if you go to oh god, I did this before.
Wasn't it $90 the actual deluxe edition?
I can't remember.
Yeah,
I mean,
it. Yeah. So okay, so that's that. So
the other thing that's hard about it is if you live in Australia.
Yeah.
If you live in Australia or something like that, it's way higher. I know that Gillup talks about that all the time about how things are significantly more expensive in Australia.
185 for Lightfall plus annual pass. That's 100. Legacy collection, which is Shadowkeep, Witch Queen, and Beyond Light, and then 25 for the 30th anniversary. I think that's everything you can buy on that front.
Yeah, I think 125 is fair. because you're getting like, for if you're thinking about like the year of content, leave me alone. I just like that. I like that number because you can say it's like $10 a month. Better than going to the movies once a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the realm of 125. And honestly, that's kind of one of those things to where if you do 125 just upfront for the year and it covers your event cards, that'd be kind of a nice little benefit. Or you could do it as $13 a month. Something like that adds up to 153, I think the math was.
If they give you $13 a month, then they need to do what Elder Scrolls Online does and give you an allowance every month for you to buy premium content.
What if that was $15 a month? $2 more.
I just don't think it's worth it.
I'm just,
yeah,
I'm
again,
messing, but I'm like,
if it was a leave you alone, $15 a month, I think ends up being what, 170, something like that. It's pretty
15
high up
times
there.
12 is 180. Yeah.
See, the
180,
value
yeah.
proposition there is that
Too
you
much.
just get it. You're just like, sweet. Like, and it would make people more excited because it's like, sweet, I paid for this thing, instead of having an event where people feel like they are missing out on stuff, which I know that there's the whole psychological thing with that. I'm excited because, like, sweet, I get the chair finisher because I bought the pass. Or maybe they make it so you can buy one thing from the store. Like, you get like kind of like the allowance. Like, you have the ability to just like, I'm gonna go into the store, I get to buy one thing, and then everything else I have to pay for silver. I could get behind that. That's not the end of the world, but it just, you're right. It's the constant nickeling, diming, and stuff like that. It's rough.
Yeah, the payment model sucks, and I think we can all agree price increase is bad. I think the messaging is bad, and I think the way Destiny is currently modeled and is charging players is not good. And yeah, I mean, I know we would all probably pay for a leave me alone model, but some people don't have that luxury, and I just think Destiny is really confusing right now to get into, not just as, you know, the tutorial and new light experience or whatever, but also just because the landscape and what you need to own and what you need to buy and what it costs extra and all that stuff is extremely confusing. And I include the Guardian Games booklet thing. To me, that's the most confusing purchase that you can currently make in Destiny is that one. That and the dungeons. The dungeons are also really confusing. So yeah.
Interesting.
No, I mean, I was kind of in the same place. As I said, like, we've kind of come to a reasonable number. And again, how much do you get out of that 100, 125, 150, whatever? How many hours do we play this game over the course of a year? Where, how much fun do you get out of it? How much do you get out of other games and value? And all those comparisons can be made. But as Travis said, it doesn't feel great right now. And when it's hard to recommend someone else to play it, something isn't right about that. And I feel like that situation needs to be looked at on their end. Now, maybe they have charts and financial analytics that tells them everything they're doing is amazing and they're making bang. You can pay to skip the campaign. I was like, we got on that the other week.
$40 charge. Yeah.
I was like, that's $40 for the other two characters. And I think you even said like Diablo's just not going to do that. And it's just like,
and it incentivizes them making bad content, by the way. That's the worst part of that. I don't just hate Destiny doing that. I hate when like games like Assassin's Creed do that
for the XP boosts and stuff.
The XP boost, and then when you have double XP boost, you're like, wow, the pacing of this game feels correct. And then when you play it without the XP boost, you're like, this feels like they made it artificially long so that bad game design so that they would sell more XP boosts. And that sort of stuff where it incentivizes bad game design so that they can make a sale is very scary to me. And I think is a legitimate threat to the creative vision of the people working on games. I really hate that stuff.
Yeah. So hoping we get to see some improvements in the future seasons and final shape if they can prove, because right now, especially when you do this, just the feeling in the community isn't great. I mean, Guardian games may be a little bit of fun. People may be enjoying Supremacy, but overall, the course of thoughts over this season didn't resound in a really high ranking manner. It was not reviewed very well. And I think this is a really bad time to do this. Maybe something they have to just rip the Band-Aid off now and deal with it later. But I want them to, at this point now, prove it to us why this is going to be worth it. It's like, if we sit here and debate that, like, whether it's 80, 100, 125, 150, I just want to know that whatever I spend on this thing, that it's going to be worth it. And that's what I hope in the future is that they prove it to us. Because this past season and expansion has a long way to go. And hopefully this coming season, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, makes up for some of that, which is unfortunate. We're trying to look for making up for something we already committed to. But Season 21, we do have an abilities tuning preview. To sum up, all supers do more damage. All supers have damage mitigation, and Titans can no longer shoulder charge for mobility. Cool. All right, we're out. I mean, that's the big piece. I'm going to hit on the points here, but that is, as a Titan, there was like one debuff in here, and it hit me. So it hit Travis and I. So, but your golden guns, PvE damage 20% higher, arc staff higher, spectral blades 35% PvE damage, heavy attack weakens targets on hit. Gathering Storm, more PvP changes for like player damage, but I think the idea is that thing's going to do damage to Well of Radiance, Ward of Dawn, and kill players more, so hopefully that's more viable. Fist of Havoc, cheaper to use each of the attacks. The heavy attack hits 33% harder, blinds targets near the center. Glacial Quake, you have better speed and better damage on the light attack. Sentinel damage, Hammer is 20% more. Hammer of Soul, 10% more. Burning Maul, 10% more. The Cyclone attack applies Scorch over time. Warlocks, Nova Warp, 15%. Fully charged attack now makes enemies volatile. Nova Bomb, just 20%. Didn't even know that needed that, but that's fine.
Yeah, I was surprised by that.
That's a bonus. Stormcaller, 25%. Damage ramp up while attacking occurs more quickly. Landfall detonation now jolts targets.
Get those braces out, fellas. I'm telling y'all.
Chaos Reach, PvE damage, 25%. Continuous damage now will jolt the target. Maximum strafe speed is a little more. Adjust the camera so you can see what you're looking at, which I actually like. Sometimes you start that, you're like, I hope I'm firing at the right thing in that area. Yeah, a little.
It's gonna count me like.
Winter's Wrath is PvE damage 10%. I don't know if that's enough because I feel like the crowd control is nice, but the super damage doesn't feel like it's going to do very much.
Because the new gloves that they dropped for it, really increase the damage. So that's a mitigation, so it doesn't get too out of control.
Hunter, we already know the threaded spike's going to be much chunkier and beefier. Titan Frenzied Blade, going to be faster depending on your charges. Warlock Arcane Needle, we're going to basically have faster velocity, increased projectile tracking. The grapple is going to be shorter cooldown, and minimum cooldown is basically non-existent. Thread generation, they are reducing the energy generation provided by some damage over time mechanics and trace rifles. And I think this is the thing where, like, if you do damage, you get your grenade back. Is that right? Is that what that is? Yeah, because, I mean, I can see trace rifles. I get enough damage from, like, a scout rifle or pulse rifle, so I can imagine trace rifles are just like, so that makes sense. I broke Travis.
You broke Travis' face.
For our audio listeners, Travis is currently in the middle of a stroke. Stasis tuning updates. Withering Blade.
Not cool, bro. Not cool.
I know.
Oh, that's not cool.
All the things Travis has ever said, he's not happy about that one.
What would you do, E, if like I talked all the shit that I talk, and then like as soon as you said anything to me, I just started crying? That's just
like an emotional breakdown.
That right there would be an example of can't take what he dishes out. So that's, and I'd be like,
my mascara running down my face.
Tough love coming
like,
your way.
Why do you do this, Ivan?
Yeah, when you wear guy liner, then I think you will be crying. So that's fine.
Guy liner.
No, I don't.
I do good.
Unless you're wearing like flesh toned guy liner, you're not doing it.
Have you ever seen yourself in like eyeliner mascara? Because I've done it for theater.
I haven't done it, but a friend has and stuff.
It's
like
weird.
That.
I look so good. I look way better than I do just on the street.
I have a friend. I have a friend. His girlfriend did it for like a Joker costume or something, and she's like, "Oh, you look so good in eyeliner." I'm like, "You guys have fun."
Honestly, he's stupid. Guys should wear makeup. Like, if you've seen guys, they're pretty ugly.
I've seen this ugly mug every day in the mirror. I'm very lucky to be married. Trust me.
Look at the average guy on the street, and you're like, you could use a little help.
A little touch up.
Little touch up. Yo, I really wish that guys could feel okay. I can't. I'm in the man box. Like, I see that stuff, and I'm just like, nah.
Travis is in the man box until you meet him.
Sorry, dude, I am. My brain works that way. I look at certain things, and I have no interest in it, and I'm in the man box. What are you gonna do? But guys should wear makeup because you need help, boys. You really do.
Listen, there are some guys like, who is it? Vince Vaughn. He needs a little bit, like, he's got like the
bags. Yeah,
he's got the like I
I
believe
thought
in
you're like,
case
hold
for
on, let me
that.
go.
his
And,
bag.
like, he's got
Wow.
like the bad, like, I mean, he just needs to get some sleep.
Sleep,
He probably
yeah,
has
he
done
really needs
some bad stuff
I've
when he
got
was younger.
sleep, man. I can't get these bags gone. I really do need a touch up. I'm telling you guys.
Just a little,
Also,
just a little.
maybe a mani pedi. You know,
I've had a
heck,
pedicure.
Listen,
I've had a pedicure. I don't care about
no, I
that.
bet you have.
All right.
No, I could tell. Yeah, E for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. For sure.
There's
I
no
don't get
question.
them all the time. I'm just saying I've had one or two
Okay.
in my life. Like,
You and the
that's.
girls go out. You get mani
Yes.
pedis. We get it around.
Have you ever had a
I-
manicure or a pedicure?
I've
I've had a
never had a
pedicure.
manicure.
Okay,
I've had a
pedicure
okay,
again.
thank you. I
had
love
a
how you're
pedicure.
like, oh, I know E's totally had one. I've totally had one too.
I've had a pedicure. The feet was out of control one time. I was like, they gotta handle this.
I live in the man box. There's something in my brain that won't let me do it, even though I know that it would be good for me. That's just how I
Especially
am.
your
I
feet,
recognize
man.
I'm a
Feet.
victim here of the societal expectations, but it's just
Definitely.
true. But I have a guy friend who gets
Mhm.
pedicures with his wife all the time, and he sends me photos of it. His feet in the
Oh.
bath, himself getting touched up because he knows how I feel about it.
Oh,
And
He's
that's
just
it.
messing with you.
Hey,
he's like-
guys.
he's like, check this out. I look amazing, and and in the back of my head, I'm like, God, if I didn't have this mental block, I would love to get a pedicure.
You wanna know the best part is?
It looks great. It
So
looks
like
great.
my wife's parents have come in town, and then my wife and her mom,
My
they'll
wife.
go, and then they've asked before, be like, hey, do the guys want to go too? So all four of us have had pedicures at the same time. So me, my wife, and her mom and dad, all four of us have been like in the same set of chairs. So it's been a whole family ordeal.
I love this.
Apparently, I've got compliments in chat. Yeah, this is fun
Oh,
right
no,
now.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Somebody
Oh, Mike is
thinks
like,
she's
"Yeah."
hot. Somebody thinks I've got expressive eyes. I mean, that's a great way
Yeah.
of saying that I'm ugly. Yeah. and
Travis
then,
has a great personality. Oh wait,
yeah,
ask
exactly.
Oh,
D.
damn.
But we all know that that's not true.
No,
That's
he
the bad
doesn't.
part,
That's the
is
problem. Yeah,
I
it's
don't
like
have a great
Travis.
personality.
Yeah, it's like how he's got a fiance right now is beg some questions, but you know,
really does. She's it's a charity project. I
charity,
think, for
yeah,
her.
she's trying to fix you, is what she's doing.
Only
luck.
feet.
So Destiny.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
about this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I was
You
like,
know.
what podcast am I on? Why am I here? I
By
don't
the
need to
way,
be
So
associated with this.
Destiny's a thing.
This is what I want the show to be. I don't want, we're going through all the stats on the TWAB. Really, like, come
I am
on.
trying to go
This
through
is
these
real
quickly,
fun.
by the way. I was trying to blow through them fast, so.
That's what she said.
Withering Stasis tuning updates, Withering Blade, a little better tracking, Titan Shiver Strike, better tracking. I don't know if that's ever going to feel good, but good luck with that. Frost Pulse now provides a little bigger lunge range as well.
Is that a bigger radius for the Frost Pulse?
2 meters additional melee lunge range after activation.
Okay, so it is. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Titans, as I said, are Shield Bash, Seismic Strike, and Hammer Strike all cost 15% of our melee. So basically, they're going to bring the cooldown a little bit, but if you use your mobility melee, it's going to cost you 15% of your melee energy. If you're at 100 strength, once this is out, it would take you 7 seconds to get that back.
Interesting.
I was like, and now, what's the cooldown on Icarus Dash when I'm just like running around? Not that long, right? And I also want to ask, with Icarus Dash, there's no sprinting warm-up for a second, or I have to like build up the charge, correct? So you can now have faster mobility, and you don't have to prep it. Just saying. I don't know why they're doing this.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel fair. That's the one mobility thing we have, and I feel like we've been down. Travis, tell me if I'm wrong, but haven't we been down this road before? Like the shoulder charge, not shoulder charge, too much, too little, one shots, not one shots, and now it won't one shot. And on top of the non-one shot, now if I use it for mobility, it's gone for a little while. So
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not a fan. That's the only thing I wasn't a fan of.
It is stupid. I don't know if shoulder charge needed another nerf, but also it is one of the items in the toolbox that is the most like
Oppressive.
low skill.
Yes.
They're not oppressive at all. Like warlocks and hunters have melees that are at least equally irritating. But they are like they are equally like low skill. Like if you get killed by that, or it's sort of on you, right? And so to me, Yeah, I just can't bring myself to care about this. If you're relying on shoulder charge that
He
much
cares.
for your PvP
He
style, then
cares about this big time.
I'm just
why
mine's
do you
more
think
the
I
idea
care
of
about it?
I don't
I
know
never shoulder
why.
charge.
I don't know why they
Why
care,
would
and I
you?
don't even shoulder charge that often. Lately, I've just been playing more like Void and kind of mid-range stuff. But it's more the idea of like, it doesn't seem necessary. That's the only thing. Is that
Yeah.
it's one of those where I'm like, I don't know the logic behind it. That's all.
That's my point. That's my problem with it too. Is I don't get the logic. But that said, who is actually out there shoulder charging in the current meta? Where
I don't see it often.
Submachine guns can blow through you, and
Thank
you
you,
know,
man.
You shoulder charging?
really, you shoulder charge?
We have to use it. We have to use it
gone
exotic.
flawless,
Movement
solo
Titans.
flawless,
Yeah.
multiple times. Put on that Peregrine Strike. There's
They
always going to be some
moving.
person who doesn't know, like he's going to peek around corners,
Yep.
and he's.
Bang.
I got my Immortal Adept. Cool story, bruh. I'm going to come around the corner. You're going to try and backpedal. I'm going to slide, jump in the air for just a second. You're dead. Your other teammates are going to be peeing their pants because they don't know what to do because you're on the other side of the map. I would still say the nerf was okay because being able to use it as a free get out of jail free card is a problem.
Yeah,
Like-
these are the Titans I see.
I like you just being able to like get out of situations.
you
But I would
Literally,
argue
a hunter does that forever.
exactly.
but
And
Yogg got that
warlocks,
And
every
warlocks can do
warlock
it
that you
too.
play again, as
Yeah, we
soon
got
as
a-
you start to push them, if
Yeah.
they're on Icarus Dash, they're just
Icarus
like,
Dash.
oh, backpedal,
Yep,
and then they just
Yeah.
that's all
Yep.
they do. And so like as a
And that
Titan,
doesn't
your
cost
only
you
way
anything.
right, it doesn't there's a cooldown on it.
There's a
I think that
cooldown.
if the cooldown is the same amount of time as the
Mhm.
Icarus Dash, I
Hello.
could see it being
Also,
equal. We'd have
educate.
to see it play out, but really, there's no extra mobility that the Titans have. And I get we're not supposed to be the mobile class, or we're not supposed to be the mobile class, but at the same time, is like warlocks have that extra piece, and like I already feel like with the firebolt situation's awful. But I just feel like Titans had that one thing. And they're like, I think everyone knows that they feel good right now in Supremacy because Supremacy requires
You think he's on
close
your
range
side here?
game.
I don't think he is.
No, he on
Who's
my
that?
side. He on my side. Continue, man. Keep talking.
Oh,
keep going.
I'm just trying to make like a nuanced
Yeah, I like
approach
it.
to it. Like I understand it, like, but I don't think it should necessarily cost like melee energy. Like it would be cooler if it did the same thing as Icarus Dash. It's
Yeah,
like you used your melee, 5-second cooldown. Like if you don't use it, like if you don't like
if you use it
dispel
for mobility only, right?
right? If
Right.
you're using it for a mobility piece, then you put a cooldown on it. Like
And
Icarus
I would be
Dash.
fine
Maybe
if
you
that
could
was
correct,
equal. It's not.
but it's
That's
not
my issue.
exactly. Maybe that's their idea, is that they have to tie it to that. And again, we don't know how it's going to play out until we actually see it. Because maybe you could spec into 100 strength, but no one's going to do that.
No
They're
one's-
going to all do recovery. And for
Oh,
PvP, is the beast.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, I agree with what you guys are saying. It should be equal, but also I just can't bring myself to care about this. Who's
Yeah, I think
shoulder
there's a
charging
lot
is
of
the main
cope
thing.
out there too. There's a lot of people who are like, oh my God, I just think it needs to be different. I don't think it's bad. I just think it needs to be
Yeah.
different. That's all.
That's
It's
right.
not that big of a deal, in my opinion.
That's right.
Knockout has smaller range but more PvE damage. Shield throw is going to have a little more damage but better tracking because that thing whiffs all the time.
Will it?
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like we've seen that patch note like 4 times, and the shield has still
that shield
never
throw is
felt
still
good.
bad.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not good.
Sunspots do a little more damage to players. I think that's kind of reverting a bit of a nerf. The snare bomb weakens for longer in PvE, like double the length. That's actually really good. Gives you a nice little tool. The proximity, weighted, and a lightweight knife. Better tracking, more damage versus players, and like better tracking and speed across the board on that one. Gunpowder gamble, by the way, reduce the gamble in half, the cooldown in half.
Half. Yeah.
That's actually big. Warlocks, Incinerator Snap. Fixing the issue, preventing the secondary projectile from arming. Reduce the damage for players from 150 to 135. Ball lightning PvE damage 30% more. Does it do anything for you or not really?
Yeah. Because of the cooldown, and then I don't think that one has the jolt attached to it like the other Stormbro melee.
Chaos Accelerant. You've got Scatter Grenade. Increase the tracking consistency. Magnetic Grenade, increase the charge hold time for handheld Supernova for longer. Yeah, that thing still sucks.
Yeah.
And then Lightning Surge allows Lightning Surge to deal more instances of secondary. There's a lot of technical stuff in here. I'm trying to go a little bit through it. So if there's anything big you guys want to talk about, I'm just trying to cover most of it here. Jolt is going to be weaker. I feel like that's kind of justified. I live on Jolt. It's very good. I think it's still going to be very good, even it's 15 to 20% weaker. It's one thing on a reload, chains to many things. It still is pretty good. Not going to feel as good, but still probably going to be top of the energy things, I think.
What's your main Jolt weapon these days?
Ikelos or Ikelos. I've heard it pronounced both ways, and I honestly don't know how to say it.
What you call it is really nice. The Neomona Pulse.
I haven't. I've crafted it. I haven't leveled it.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good with Jolt. It's really good.
Scorch is actually going to stay on targets longer. So if you proc it and you're trying to like continue to proc more of it, go for the ignition, you'll have a little more time to do that. Speed booster for what am I trying to think of? Arc, basically just getting amplified. The jump scaler's a little less, activates a little quicker. Overall, a lot of general stuff. I mean, I live on Jolt. I know it's strong. I kind of get it. I feel like it's not totally necessary, but it is probably the strongest of the three. I would probably, I guess I'll deal with it. It's like bringing the other two up to that, like Volatile. I just wish Volatile was more accessible.
PvE you're talking about?
Yeah, it's PvE damage.
Yeah.
PvE, you think Jolt is more powerful than the others?
More than Volatile. It's easy to proc because you get one kill with the weapon, and then you can just the chaining of it after that, and the fact that it hits so many and it'll reach farther than anything. Volatile only goes a little ways. Incandescent, the reach of Jolt, I think, gives it an advantage, in my opinion.
I would agree.
I feel like that's part of Arc, though. It chains. I feel like just for like the flavor, they should keep that chain intact and then just reduce the overall damage or benefit you get from doing it if it's going to hit more people, and then it'll kind of identify more as ad control, group control kind of play instead of because you don't want them to all to feel different, right? I don't want Incandescent to feel like Jolt but in blue, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like they need. I like that they have somewhat of an identity, but I think the more things they could do to make that identity clear and differentiated is better.
Mano, thoughts?
Anything in there that you guys? I was just blowing through all the changes, but anything that you're excited about? Anything you're pumped about? Anything good for your class?
I've been through enough of these that it's just another Destiny 2 patch thing. Like, there's gonna be. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the meme of the circular, like, there's a new meta. Everyone likes that it's completely different. People start to learn the new meta. People start to complain about the new meta. The new meta becomes oppressive. Bungie changes the meta, and it's just a circle.
Yeah.
It's kind of just the same thing. Like, there's nothing in here that makes me really excited. Nothing really makes me like mad or frustrated or happy. Like, it's the same content. It's just, here's a slightly different coat of paint. Like, we're going to have this person be a little bit stronger. I think one person did mention, like, or a couple people on Twitter said, well, we're bringing challenge back to Destiny, and this is a regression of that. I don't know if it's that. I think it's just giving us more tools in the toolbox. I really like using Stasis. So it's cool to see more Stasis get a little bit of love, especially because a lot of the things that were tied to Stasis were taken away. Like, I forget what the name of the charge was, but it was before we have the new armor system or the new charge system that we have now. But there was a lot of ways you could use Stasis along with the wells.
Yes,
it was really great. So, but now Stasis. But I mean, Strand had to come in and do its thing. I don't think that there's anything like that's exciting about this. I think it's just another way for them to just like sort of change up the meta a little bit and to give people a little bit more flavor. I would like to see more changes. I hope that they do something to Well of Radiance, because right now I think just Well of Radiance, I kind of am on Salt's train, like Salt of Greppo's train. It's what you do. You put on Starfire Protocol, you put on a well, and that's like the best damage in the game, and it's been that way for 2 years, you know?
I'm with you on Starfire.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I just feels like it's mandatory to complete certain encounters, or it's like the default. That's when the meta needs to change. So I don't dislike Wells or Starfire for, like, holistically or as an idea. I
don't
dislike
dislike them either.
Yeah.
I just like that they're mandatory, and also they make bubbles useless, which to me as a Titan is sort of like the biggest problem. Because I would love nothing more than to go back to being a Defender Titan, but there's literally no reason to.
There's no reason
like,
to do it.
Well of Radiance does everything the Titan bubble does,
And better.
more
And better.
It's
You
fair.
can
I mean,
stand in
we-
it. You can stand in it, and you get the damage boost, and you literally are harder to kill in that than even inside the bubble. I'm pretty sure you're harder to kill in well. So
the bubble in Destiny 2 was an afterthought, 100%. I remember I don't even think it was in the original build of Destiny 2
Captain
I played,
America stuff.
because I played Destiny 2 before it was out, and I think in that
Right.
original one, the third subclass that everybody got were confirmed, but then I think there was no bubble originally. I can't remember if it was there in the original game, but I remember it was like an alternate super mode, and then
Yeah, it
they
was an alternate
expanded on it.
super.
But yeah, they expanded on it since then, but it still feels like conceptually when they introduced the bubble got pushed out real hard and has never really made a full comeback, and that's partially because Bungie's never really committed to making that a real subclass. But to me, it's OG. It's more original and more at the heart of like class identity than I think the well is with Warlocks. The well with Warlocks is still relatively new in
It's new.
the history of Destiny.
Yeah.
So I would love it if Defender Titans could actually come back and be a real
Sentinel Titans
I
too.
mean, could you
Like,
imagine if
they're
the
great.
big Sentinel shield that you hold up, you didn't have to hold, you just place the big one? It was a pretty big arc that
A
would cover
giant barricade?
a giant barricade that you could shoot through, like you do. You get your damage boost, but it's like it's an arc. But that way, the person, because again, the Warlock plants the thing and still gets DPS.
Well,
The Titan has to sit there and hold it. I feel like if
That's
you could
fair.
just plant a giant ass barricade and be like, all right, everybody, you're good for this 30-degree
This
radius,
damage, yeah.
and
Right.
The other option would be the bubble moves with you. Like if you
Right.
could just
you got to be able
cast
to
it
shoot
and the
through. You
bubble
got to be
flew
able to
around
shoot
you.
through it.
Yeah.
Well, and
Possibly.
they could redesign well. I don't know if I've mentioned it here, but there's a game that I played. It wasn't a strictly Baldur's Gate game. It was like a Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance game where you cast. It was a cleric that cast a sword, and then there was like a sword that would spin around you. When they were redesigning like solar, yeah. So it was like something that would attack other enemies, and it would give you a buff. I was like, wouldn't that be cool if Well of Radiance moved with you, but it was a slightly lower, it was a lower buff.
So you want like a well donut.
Yeah, kind of like a well donut. And like what would be cool about it is if you think about like popping it in PvP, like you could be aggressive when you popped your super, but it's essentially just like a sword. It's the same concept. It's a floating sword that goes after enemies. And like I think that would be a really cool concept, because then it would change how you engage with combat so much with the Warlock. And the choice would either be like throw the sword up in the air and it lights on fire and it goes after people, or you take the sword and you grasp it and then you go after enemies, like what Dawnblade does now. And I think that by doing that, would offer and I like the idea of doing Ease Shield. Just putting those two things would just completely change the dichotomy of the game right now, because a lot of the DPS things that we do right now are just like stand in well, use rockets, throw nades, cool. Like there's nothing else. It's not exciting. It's not entertaining. It's the same thing we've done since VoG of Destiny
boss design
1.
is the problem in that, and that's. I wish there
Rolk was a good choice. Rolk was a good movement.
Rolk was
a good movement choice.
Yeah.
And I love Caretakers as well.
Caretaker was good. Yeah, he moved. The movement is
Because he
better.
moved you around, yeah.
Yeah. Like unfortunately the planets encounter, while the mechanic of the planets itself is, I like the stylistic mechanic of moving the planets around and doing that. The dude doesn't move. And that's another thing where it's like it's lost. Even Caretaker moved in VoW, and Rolk moved, and like, and now you've got Nezarec who makes up for it because he's jumping around on crack everyone. You can't even like he's a little on the crazy side. I still want them to make some type of boss encounter that's made up of multiple things. Like, you know, where machine guns, like, I mean, right now Thunderlord shines, so don't get me wrong. It's like the easy button. But I mean, what, like something you're going, and this is where I feel like a Vex boss would be interesting, or something made up of like 100 different things, and then they split up, and it's like, okay, your goal as a team is to shoot the like everything around the room, so it'd be like a whole bunch of enemies, and like that's why, as you said, it would be a little different, or they would go and you'd have to go around the room and just change the mechanics. Because yeah, shoot a big guy behind either, even if you did change up the bubble to be that, it'd be nice to have, you know, a shift for the Titan for the because right now it is like, oh, you wanted one phase You want to one phase Nezarec? You got your wells? Cool? No? Okay, never mind. Don't do that. So it's like we need some options for that, if nothing else. So
well, and to be fair, I had a person who was in my stream and they did an all hunter run for their for the newest raid seal. And they were like, this was a blast because like they had to think about how you get your characters radiant. So they'd throw their melee or they'd use their attack, which is great because then now they're not using a well. Then you have to use a tether to debuff. And then you like there's so much more synergy when you take those massive things away that are just easy. And like I don't mind using well as a way to help people be a support player. My brother loves being a support player. And you want to give those people those options, but there's just a lot of things like
you have to be.
You have to do
because
that.
we
or
actually
else
like
it won't
helping
work.
the team. We like helping the team.
Yeah, and
we don't have
that's
ego.
the way he is.
Somebody
Yeah.
eventually has to kill the boss.
Yeah, that's why Cog's always. I think
you had to do that. You had to do all that.
Had to do
You had
that.
to do all that.
You said it. You made it too easy.
I had a look at Cog's stats in Destiny, and I saw that he has 98% usage of div. That's like his lock to his loadout. And all
not.
My brother,
He's not.
just he's div bitch in trial.
Oh man, we not putting that on me.
Here's the thing, Cog. Like my brother wanted to make a shirt, and this was like something we wanted to make for merch. So if anybody does this, you're copying it from my brother. He wanted to make sure because he didn't like that people were called div bitch. He lives to div. He lived to div. And he like has the bubble and like I don't know, like because
like
there are some people who love
show.
doing it.
I
like,
do. I don't. I did. My new one is I got a sick one. It's you know what? I finally got Edge of Intent. I finally did it.
I'm sorry, but
Bro, I got a sick healing build right now, man. Between that and Benevolence,
you don't
and
need it with though. That's the thing.
No, I don't. But it's just extra. It keep everybody alive. We gonna get this Nightfall, or we gonna get this thing done, this raid done, kind of thing. But continue.
No, yeah.
But he does use div on all loadouts.
Yeah. We got new aspects coming. Okay, so we've gone longer than these pieces than I thought we were going to. But Season of the Deep, the thumbnail.
But we talked about toes and feet, so we're good.
Yeah, we got only feet,
only
mani
feet.
pedis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got Star
Last
Wars out of
Era.
the way. May the 4th, we had to do it.
Important.
Eyeliner,
Yeah,
that probably was
before the show.
optional.
That was before the show. Yeah.
It kind of carried over, so we're just gonna go with it.
Season of the Deep.
All right, Season of the Deep, and now we knew the name. Now we have a picture.
Mm-hmm.
Please leave the inappropriate jokes at the door. Thank you. So what do you guys think? Whoever wants to take their first shot, like, what do you guys?
Are we
think here?
supposed
Do
to have
you like?
opinions on this already?
There's
It's a graphic, man.
It's just an image.
What do you think of the
What
armor,
do you
sir?
think?
I think that this season will have a match-made activity that they'll ask me to do multiple times per week. And I think that they'll have a couple weeks of poorly thought out story with one cutscene at the beginning and one at the end. And then I think they'll reskin some armor.
Hey, big question.
And some weapons.
I was gonna. A lot of people on Twitter were funny. I don't know which one said it first. Somebody was like, "Are Titans actually going to be able to touch water and swim without dying? Is this possible?" Titans can.
Is it
Guardians can
possible
swim?
for any Guardian? No Guardian can swim, right?
Well, right. I mean, this picture has us hanging out with.
Yeah.
One of the
that
best
is
clans
not
name I ever
real.
saw was Guardian Swimming School. Like that was a clan name. And I was like, dude, I lost
That's
it.
classic. That's
That's
good.
hilarious.
My guess is that we will not be swimming in Season of the Deep. If they add a feature that big, I would be shocked and amazed.
They did first
course
person
they won't.
bows, but
It's
yeah,
gonna be a
first person
cutscene or
swimming.
something.
Yeah. Do you like the armor? Anybody?
No.
Cog?
Oh, Warlock delegation approves. We're very Poseidon. I'm feeling this. Yeah, I'm about this.
Mano?
Warlocks.
Where are you at on any of them?
To me, it kind of looks like Lucent Hive armor in a way,
Yes.
except the class items for the Titan. I'm looking at it now on this screen. Like I don't like the class items, the whole like watery, like it's sort of like I'm a jellyfish kind of thing. I'm doing this
that's
too.
Probably the
Yeah,
best
it's
description
good.
of it, actually. Yeah.
I don't know if I vibe with that.
Wait, hold on. Titans got a dress.
I like the idea.
Titans have a skirt. You
Titans
have
got
a
a
full.
dress.
You have a full. No, we have a skirt.
Yeah. Out here.
We're in the
out
middle.
here.
We're in the
That is
middle.
not a skirt. That is a dress.
No, no.
I
that is a-
hope
The right
the
side is
dungeon-
the Warlock. That's the full dress hanging over his shoulders.
That's
Titan-
more than a butt towel.
I said it's a skirt, not a dress.
Yeah, you skirted. You coming
I
over.
said
All right, there you
skirt.
go.
You're
Good,
like,
good,
no, it's
there
a
you
dress.
go.
I'm like, no, that's a skirt.
Is that supposed to be the mark? Is that like
Yeah, that's the mark.
Yeah,
that's the
supposed to
class
be the
item.
mark.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
because
I
it's
heard-
hung around the waist. Yeah.
The armor
Thanks,
looks
I hate it.
cool. I hope that the dungeon is underwater. Listen, we're not going to learn how to swim. That would be a
I know.
huge
I'm
fire.
messing with everybody. Yeah.
like it's got to be underwater. There's got to be some kind of an engagement. Like it can't be like, oh yeah, by the way, we're not going to go underwater. We're not going to be like, you should be on Titan. It should just be like,
Oh, I bet.
you know how we
okay.
went to Mars and stuff like that. It just needs to be that.
We got to say the character in the front of the image. Who is it?
Yep, we all know it's
What's
Sloan.
her face?
Sloan.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Sloan's
Now-
back.
Sloan's back and her arm is now taken. So
Kinda, right?
she's
Yeah.
been through some stuff.
Oh, you're
Her
right.
arm is very
Maybe it could
taken.
just be her armor. Maybe she just got that armor from D1. We don't know.
Probably not.
She replayed the Red War campaign.
Yeah. No, but I like what you said, how it does look like the Hive Guardians, which leads me to believe that Season of the Deep has two things. One, the crazy giant eyeball fish from the planet
Ooh.
Titan, the big swimming, terrifying thing. And then
Mhm.
two, Hive and Savathun. Hopefully Savathun is involved in the story, because if you can get
Right.
Sloan back on Titan and Savathun with the Hive Guardians, because when you say that armor looks like Hive Guardians, it really does remind me of like
Whoa,
Savathun and the Hive Guardians.
don't get me. Don't put this much pressure on this season.
Hey,
Yeah.
I gotta have hopes. I
You
gotta
gonna get
hope.
Travis excited. That's like
every season.
I know.
Every season, you get so
You
excited.
can get
No,
Travis
you-
hyped.
okay,
This is
you know-
literally two of his favorite things.
You do realize
one
that
season?
I could also be like, this is just a big goofy eyeball. It's stupid. It's the big starfish from Doctor Strange. The armor's dumb, and the season's gonna suck. I could do that. That's not fun.
You should.
No, that's your
Sounds
job,
way
not
better.
mine. That's your job, not mine.
Good job, Detective.
My job is to bring you closer to me. All right, you're a little too far on the other side. So let's just agree that there will be a giant eyeball and some goofy looking armor, and that's really all we know right now.
And Sloan is
Those
gonna be
are
there. She
mine.
has a taken arm, and
Woo! Now
Calm
the team
down,
is back.
Calm down, E. You're getting a
Destiny's
little
saved.
excited.
Woo! I'm with you, E. I'm
at
with
least
you.
somebody's got to get a little excited here.
I'm hyped
somebody.
with you.
Such chills. God.
Let's go. Let's go. Hype train.
Hey, I just want to go on like narrative cadence here. Season of the Seraph, same team. Season of the Haunted,
Oh, it's a goal. This is season of the Seraph team?
yep.
Oh, it's a
They
goal.
alternate, remember?
Oh, we back, baby.
They alternate. They alternate,
This
remember?
is also season of the haunted team, and it's the same part of the
But it is
year
season of the Lost
haunted
team.
happened.
It is
Season of
true.
the Seraph team.
But it's
Goldie.
also but it's also
Goldie.
season of the Chosen.
Usually-
Season of the
but
Chosen
they-
team.
But that's the thing. Their off seasons are always bad, and their seasons that come out during the main expansion are good. That's what I've learned.
Back to Titan. To Titan.
As somebody who didn't like.
We going back to Titan. I don't think so.
Yeah, we're gonna go back to Titan, and it's gonna be exactly like season of the haunted. They're gonna put us in one hallway and make us fight the same
Gonna be
ways. of enemies.
Savathun appearance.
Let me just say this.
Thank you.
I
Come in
have
here and
not been excited for seasonal content since probably Forsaken. Is it going to be? I'm interested in the activity. Like I like the idea of the armor. The armor looks cool. I'll love to transmog it and do all those things. I'm interested to see what happens with Sloan. I hope that they do more with the story and they pay things more than I think that they did for Amanda Holiday. Hopefully, spoiler alert. Hopefully, everyone's like on board and everyone knows what happened.
Yes, I've been telling them they
I
don't
know
listen.
everyone in here did, but just anyone in chat maybe that didn't play through the season. But like,
Guys,
I kind of felt like it was phoned in. Like with the Mander,
I
they're
agree.
like, we need to make it feel like there's stakes. It's
I
just
agree.
like we gotta raise the stakes up. So I mean, there's Star Wars sequel for trilogy for you as well. Anyway, prequels too. But my
Exactly.
thing is, it's like I hope that they do something different. And what I'm interested to see what they do is the fact that they're not having us level anymore.
Yes.
Yep.
Because there are going to be some people that I think are going to be put off by that because
Mhm.
some people like to see the number go burr, and
Mhm.
then other people like are are better for it because they're just like, hey, I don't need to play this game all the time because if I want to do Grandmasters, now I'm just done. Like I got to level up the artifact or whatever, but like I don't need to keep. And I can see the argument for both sides. I think that you need to keep people coming back for some kind of content. Like there's got to be something. Didn't they say that this is the season that things are going to change for? Well, of course they've said it before, but
there's not going to be there's not going to be a war table upgrade either.
Right. This is the first time that there's not going to be like we've taken the formula that we had in Shadowkeep and like just basically paid it forward for 2 years. So I'm interested to see what happens with that. What do you guys think will happen like instead of that, or what do you hope?
If they can find a way to, I like the idea of. By the way, I'm making all the co-hosts laugh because there's a picture of the Season of the Deep thumbnail. But there's a very funny addition to the image.
Did Destiny and Meme put that together?
I don't know. Stadia Time is the one. Go look up
Stadia
Time's Twitter. But I don't know where.
Time.
I don't know if he did it or got it. But yeah, it's Rolk basically. Rolk is standing behind Sloan and just giving the giant middle finger to all the Guardians. It is hilarious. I will not put it on screen. You got to go look up Stadia Time on Twitter.
You really should put it on screen though.
No,
what I tweeted it out.
Yeah, what I would like to see is
he just tweeted it out.
What I would like to see is if they can do something along the lines of the Shattered Realm, where we get progressional unlocks, where we get like an area to explore, we get more places we can get to every week, something along that lines, but we don't have to go put a currency in to unlock the little guy, where it's more puzzle based, where if you unlock something, maybe you can like get whatever it is to Sloan, so you can add something along those lines is how I would like to see them handle it, because Shattered Throne's still one of my favorite. And if that could be around for longer than just the last season, like give me the big thing earlier so more people can enjoy it for longer. That's the big thing, because
or an exotic mission that requires multiple people to play and it's their best piece of content and they was around for 3 months.
Yeah, I know.
Revision 0.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
yeah, the people who don't have all the Revision 0, the Revision 0 catalyst, like people like didn't get it and they're like, oh, yeah, I can't even.
Speaking of which, I gotta get back.
It was such a great mission. Like,
I know.
It's just like
it was literally this is how you do Deepstone Crypt. Why that is okay. Now you understand the mechanics. Go play Deep. Why that's gone. Now, granted, I know it's coming back. What, next season or 22? Maybe I think that's coming back.
23, I thought.
Maybe it's later. Yeah. Fire Team's 23. I know the LFG is 23. I forget all the dates, but yeah, some way where it's not where understanding the puzzles or doing something, not having to interact with the table is fine, but let us have some stuff to figure out. That's what I'd hope for. That's my what activity would you guys like to see?
I don't know. I mean,
outside of there's the 6-person match made activity. It's like,
yeah. To me, the activities, we're at the rinse and repeat point. Let's be honest, right? That part I'm not going to gas up, like it's going to be so revolutionary. To me, it always is about the theme of the actual expansion, how it connects to the narrative, is whether or not I'm emotionally invested. Like when we did what was the Metroidvania one that was kind of like in Taken, and we dealt with Homegirl in her world. Damn, what was that one? We got
Shattered Realm?
Yeah, but it was, what was that season? It was like
Season of the Lost.
Season of the Lost.
Yeah, I believe it's like a Taken world, but it's kind of like a Metroidvania kind of mechanics. Metroidvania.
That's where all the puzzles and stuff happen.
The puzzles with the haunted stuff. I like that activity, right? So again, it's really not like it's just something so revolutionary, but it was, the theme was cool. It connected to the narrative well. That's my main thing. So as long as they do something that connects to Titan, explain, okay, what the hell happened? Sloan is back. Remember, all these planets disappeared. So this question, to me, the reason why I'm excited is I like when threads get revisited that were loose, and we need to know what happened. That's when Destiny excites me, and that's why I'm hyped for this one. So yeah, I want to know what the hell's going on over there. And of course, we know the Hive connections, right? We know every time we went to Titan, you saw the baby Zols swimming around. you saw all that stuff. So we want to know about the Hive God stuff. I'm very curious to see, in connection to, like, are we going to get any movement with the Witness stuff? Probably not. But clearly, Hive Sabathun at minimum. If you ain't giving me Sabathun, at minimum some Xivu or Wrath updates. What's going
one
on
or the
with
other is needed.
one or the other? Like
That's
that.
really
That's
good.
what it is. And just
The other
give me
thing
some-
that's been
yeah, please.
that's been great on that note is I think one thing that really worked well this season was the Season of Defiant activity, like the 3-man activity where you go in and like you're in between the Ascendant realm and stuff. I hope they continue that. Like here, imagine going into an Ascendant realm of Titan, because Titan to me was a really cool location.
The
that
Archipelago was still one of the best.
Yeah, you barely explored it though. It was like what? And I mean, like here's the connection. Sabathun's song was in Titan.
It's Titan.
Yep.
That's what
So
I'm
like
saying.
if they don't do something with that, I'd be disappointed. And I mean like the whole Ascendant realm going back and forth and back and forth. I think that'd be really cool. Just to keep going on your thing, Cog. So
yeah, no, absolutely, man. And like I said, it would be cool. One thing I gotta give Destiny credit. At least they try thematically to do different things. You had a little pirate season. Like it would be cool to have a little underwater, submarine season.
The Eververse ornaments all like a scuba.
Oh,
set.
you know, scuba stuff. Like I like when Bungie
I need a
goes
scuba
into that
Steve.
bag.
Scuba Steve ornament.
Oh man, this is gonna be the SpongeBob SquarePants season, huh?
Yep. I'm hoping.
Yeah. So other changes that are coming in season 21, exotic focusing is coming. We already have covered the pricing before. Or if you're doing tier 1, which is like kind of groupings of like a bunch of the stuff from Red War, and then based on expansions, they've got certain ones in there where you can kind of narrow it down for 1 shard, 1 exotic engram. Tier 2, it's going to be an engram. It's the cipher for me for tier 2 that makes that really expensive. You can do 1 a week. Because that cipher only comes from Xur. It's a weekly bounty. You do it once. That's it. So you will only be able to do 1 of those a week. But it's 3 Ascendant shards. So I don't know if people are going to start running Master Nightfalls all the time to run these things. We'll have to find out. Saving grace of all this, granted, we'll see how the exotic focusing goes. They state your exotic should consistently roll higher stats with more frequent individual stat spikes, and you can expect average stats to be in the mid 60s. I will see it when I believe it, but if it's true, that is the thing. Like, if you make me spend all this time and doing exotic focusing and you give me a 59, I'm going to throw my controller. If they make it mid 60s, like 64, 65, if you put it in that realm, at least then you know the juice is more worth the squeeze, even if it's expensive as hell. But we'll see. They said since they're not raising the Pinnacle cap, they also state some of the Pinnacle rewards are going to change over to exotic engrams. So now they'll give you a reason to go. Some of that stuff was like a Pinnacle before. Some of those are going to be exotic engrams. That being said, if your alts aren't up right now to Pinnacle cap, I'd put a little time in on those because it's going to be a little slower because some of the Pinnacles are going away. They're turning into exotics. Now, the only thing I will say, kind of like, I'm going to be a little Debbie Downer. This just continues to kind of devalue exotics. They used to be very special. Now they are just part of the interchange of the mechanics. And it's like, way back in Destiny 1, it was cool to get exotics, but it's like now they just have a different feel to them completely. And this is just, it is. It's just it's the special piece of candy, but it's still all kind of, exotic doesn't quite feel the same.
It was kind of the problem that Destiny 2 had at launch. It's like you got all the exotics, like it felt really easy to get all the exotics. Whereas before, when Xur showed up, it was a big deal.
Do you remember in D1 where you didn't even know what all the exotics were?
Yeah, right. Oh, you had to search.
That's the other thing is like it's not just the fact that all the exotics are easy to get. It's that all players feel entitled to them. If they don't have all of them, then then they're pissed. They're like, I should have every single one of the game. D1 days, it was just assumed you wouldn't get all of them, and that was just, if you did, you were super lucky. Or
you were a Chad.
You were Chad, and you also didn't know which ones are in the game. Like a new expansion would come out, and
there was no data mining. Yeah.
Oh my god! Like there's this crazy one that I didn't even know was in the game that they added, and now it's just like, you better tell us all the ones you add and exactly how to get them and how much time it's going to get. And I'm all for people not grinding the same activity 90 times to try to get an exotic and having no path to getting a certain item. I get that sucks, but you do lose something, right? You lose kind of like the magic of like possibility and not knowing what was out there. I don't think we'll ever get that back in Destiny.
When you get that drop, like, and you just jump up and you're like, yeah. Like mom, I got the Galhorn. You're right. I don't think we're ever getting that back until we get a new IP.
Yeah, I think
I
they
don't even
get it.
think a new IP you'd get it. I honestly think that age is sort of over. Like now with live, because the live service model has evolved.
Yes.
I think now with
I
live
agree.
service, it's just expected. Like you're going to give me a collections, and I'm going to know how to
Yes.
use certain items. And I actually think that's probably healthier for the player base. Like the idea that Gallarhorn is just a matter of you playing 20,000 hours and hoping you get it and having no control of your own destiny is not a particularly good feeling. The reason that we all remember it though is because we went through it, and at time the hardship made the heart grow fonder when you finally got it. But I don't think that's good game design. I just think we've moved past that as an industry, unfortunately. But it
Yeah.
is very interesting to reflect on as like a
Yeah,
nostalgia.
it's a good point both of you guys made as far as how it used to be community-wise with exotics and the feel. But yeah, I agree with Travis
Yeah.
wholeheartedly. I think
Exotics on a battle pass did that long ago.
that's
too.
what I was
Yeah,
just,
no,
bro. You just took my point. Yup.
Sorry.
Once they started, you started a season, and it's like, yeah, there you go,
Yeah,
and it was on the battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever episode that started, we're like, can you like not just give me the exotic straight away? And
Yeah.
that has not stopped. So
Yep.
Either that or like put it on like rank 25 or something. But literally, it's like here's your exotic. Boom, you just get it.
Day
Buy
zero,
the
minute
exotic.
zero.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
should cop. Yeah, purchase the exotic.
We do have one
And
currency
Caiatl.
being added, but we do have two
Uh-oh.
going away. So we'll get there. Deep Sight Harmonizer is going to allow you to basically take any weapons that are craftable that you don't have a pattern unlocked for to be able to unlock like the Deep Sight trigger on it. So say like the Gunsmith has the Solar Glaive from last season. You didn't unlock that craftable. You can take one of these currencies and turn that into a like red border. And it's going to help you make progress. The problem, the Deep Sight Harmonizer currency can be obtained from the Season Pass rank rewards, 3 in the free and 3 in the paid. This will be the sole source of the currency for the initial rollout of the feature. That doesn't have beta test written on it. I don't know what it is. I mean, there's like
slow rollout.
The slowest of rollouts. You are capped at 6. Period. And a weapon takes 5. Pick your one weapon. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Can I ask you guys? Did anyone do the master versions of the new raid?
I did one. I did the jumping encounter, which I hate myself for, but yes.
Oh man, you picked the worst week to do
I
it.
know I did. Yeah. I didn't even get a god roll either.
I feel like this is the same vibe as like as doing the adept weapon adjustments. Like they were gonna make it so that the adept weapons could be like you could change things. I honestly like I play a lot of these things and I have almost all the master weapons. I think I just got to do it this week. I just don't care. Like I guess to me, like I feel like you just do the raid enough or you do whatever. It doesn't make an impact. Maybe that's just my take. I think that they wanted to make a big impact on the community. I just don't know if it's going to. You know what I mean? And it's kind of the same way with the recrafting of adept weapons. Like we were hoping like we could take adept weapons and making the adept weapons would be slightly better than the crafted weapons, because that was the big thing, is if you do the master content, these weapons should be slightly better, just a little bit better. And I don't feel like they necessarily did that, or at least it didn't feel exciting. I didn't know what I wanted to see what your guys' take on that was. So, because I kind of feel like they're in a way they're very similar. Like we're gonna make these changes, we're gonna let you go after like these old weapons or recraft it. Like it's just like I'm gonna get them at some point anyway.
I mean, I feel like for people who missed previous seasonal stuff that they literally can't craft right now, like literally last year, a lot of the crafted stuff, there's no easy way to go after any of that stuff. Season the Seraph weapons.
Gunsmith. Yeah.
Those
are the only two ways to do it.
But there's no way to go crafted patterns. So this is a way for somebody. Now, granted, why they only give you 6? Because somebody like literally the 4 of us on this podcast, I've crafted pretty much everything every season. I think. Just about.
Wow. You have no life.
Wow. I don't have much of one. No, it's true. But so for the people who play a lot, this is very much not for. For the people who miss seasons, missed guns, things like that, those are the ones who would want it to help out. Now, why they limited it to like a total of 6 for the entire season, I don't know. Now, granted, you can use this for raid weapons, which would be helpful. Be like, you still got to get the raid weapon to drop or buy it from the end.
Spoils.
And you got to get spoils. So it's not like, and again, like, this is one of those things where it's like, if I'm gonna run raids, and say I want like the Deepstone Crypt weapons, like Commemoration is still one of the weapons that I should probably have as a solo player, and crafting a god roll is one of the better weapons you can get too. So this is probably for the first place I would put mine. But then when I'm done, then it's like, do I want to go smash my head against the raid countless more times? Probably not. So it's like, I would probably run Deepstone 1 week when it's up, get some of the drops, and then I would be waiting till the season after. It's weird that they limited it so much. Even if they made these things cost like an Ascendant Shard early on just to check like how quick people are going, the fact that it's just like season pass only, nothing else, no other place to get them, it's weird.
I'm worried that they might monetize it.
No,
Come on, man. Don't put this energy out there like
wrong.
this, bro. Come on, Mano, don't do
three are in
that.
three are in the paid season pass. 3 are in the paid season pass.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is like the cosmetic, like if you want to buy the synth weave or whatever, the templates or the patterns or whatever, like I'm worried that they're going to be like, well, if you want to go back and get the stuff that was paid before, like you can get 5. Did you know you can get 5 more from the Eververse for 1,000?
Don't be doing this, man. Don't be putting this out there. Don't be giving these dudes no ideas, man.
Bungie, don't listen.
If you don't think they don't have all these ideas in Morecog,
of course they do.
You're.
So it's weird to me, and I will be curious what happens with these.
Yeah,
I need to run Deepstone. Would this be easier if I could get 5 of it and I could just turn those 5 into, red borders, and at least I know I could get that one? Sure, that would make. And again, like you're running old raids, especially until they revamp perks and things like Last Wish. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, it is odd to me, the limitation on the season pass. I'm very curious. All right, go.
I just think that it's, if you looked at the verbiage for when they started the crafting process, it was told to us like it was a form of an RNG protection for people who have been completely unlucky. However, what they want is the time investment to level up that weapon and grind it to that state. They don't want to give us that instantaneous god roll instantly. They want it to be this commitment. So this is them knowing that and limiting us from actually getting the god rolls on those weapons we missed out. So again, it's that forced extended engagement that Bungie's always known for. They don't want to kind of give you that thing that you need and want and desire easily. They want to make it and keep you in this game. And that's why they're limiting this. The key is going to be, like Mano said, after this season, what is the source?
Yeah.
What is the true source is going to be? Because if you keep throwing it on paid tracks or monetization checks, we
maybe
gonna
like
have
every season in the paid, maybe since they took out like the high stat armor, like they just always in the paid track, they put 3 in every. Maybe that's just their way of doing it.
Yeah, like it's, what is it? Exotic ciphers kind of count that or no? Exotic ciphers in the free track.
I think they have one on both.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I am concerned about that. So I think for now, like Battle's saying, this is the flirt with the paid track to give extras and
exciting. I didn't even think about that. Cool.
There's already kind of a pay to win model, by the way. The fact that you get way more materials and the game's kind of like unplayably, you're always starved for materials and have to play way more and are at a significant disadvantage when it comes to infusion and enhancement cores, and they've already kind of crossed that line in a lot of ways, I think.
Well, Finest Matter Weave are going to stop dropping. Rainmakers are going to stop dropping. Rainmakers can be dismantled for 3,000 Glimmer. And Finest Matter Weave can be dismantled for 1 enhancement core each. I really, really want them to do more than 1 at a time because I have a lot of those. I have 500 of those things and I don't even know how many Glimmer. I'm like, at least let me do like 10 at a time. I'm not going to sit there and do 1. I don't want to sit there and watch an entire Netflix series just to break down my Finest Matter Weave. That doesn't sound like a great time. Like, make it faster. Like, it should do a check. Do you have 100? Break it down for 100. Do you have 10? Break it down for 10, 10, 10. Then when you finally get to 1s, they've done that on previous currencies, like Rahul, when you were breaking down planetary materials.
Yes,
they've done it
right.
before.
Yes,
this should be the same way.
Like he was dropping an album there for a second. Break it down in 10.
Break it down in 10. 10. Break it down.
It was pretty rhythmic.
It would be the whitest album ever, I can tell you that.
He was fit. He was flowing on that one, though.
I think that's a strength. You know, People will buy it ironically.
They're upgrading Vanguard bounties. If you do all of the triumphs for old dungeons and old raids for the random exotic drops, it will boost your chance at those exotics. I still don't
That's
have
good.
eyes and stuff like that, so that'll probably work. The Good Boy protocol is coming back, so we're gonna have to figure out where he lands in season 21. We already talked about the season pass costing more, and then trials rewards. We got a new ghost ship, new shader per season, and a
I
sparrow.
hope they keep the ability to get the hushed shearing ship, because ever since that's been in the game, I have been going flawless as much as possible. Probably,
I saw your
I
tweet,
probably
actually,
have
yeah.
gone. I probably have gone
No.
probably 35 times since that's happened, and I
Mm.
still can't
Gotta
get
get
it.
that.
That's
And
great.
I'm just like, dude, just let me get that one ship, or if it drops afterwards, I'm cool, because I like the ship that's coming next, but I
Yeah.
want to get the hushed shearing ship because
Yes.
it's just like, to me, it's
cool.
like that's peak destiny right there. I'm good.
Yes. I'm with you.
You know what I mean?
With you. I
So-
want that too. Mm-hmm.
We get Messenger back, and we also get Unexpected Resurgence. I wondered if you guys think, because when they bring back weapons, they typically give a new perk, and as it's a kinetic, do you think like Messenger kinetic trimmers, maybe?
Maybe. What you think, Mano?
I could see kinetic tremors on it, although I would still say, what's the other pulse? The Battle Scar that has it.
Yeah.
Like, I still think that one's going to be a little bit better because it's a lightweight frame and
Yeah.
it's a higher rate of fire frame.
True.
Right.
What if did they say it was going to be kinetic?
It says high impact kinetic. It's not going to be
Yeah.
Okay,
strand.
so-
Yeah.
It would be interesting if they had made it strand, because then at least it would set it apart and give it. You could put the hatchlings and stuff like that
Ooh.
too
Yeah.
along with that.
I'd
That'd be kind of
curious-
cool.
I'd say be curious to
Ooh.
see that more. We also have an adaptive arc glaive. I don't know if anybody's excited about that, but it will be a trials weapon.
Interesting.
Is the PvP community excited about glaives? I don't think so.
No.
Fallout
No,
was
they're
not. I will tell you. Fallout was like, well, it is a weapon that exists, and that was literally his excitement.
Yeah, I mean the adept pulse rifle, I think, is the reason that they put that there.
Mm.
Trying to get people. That's the one that PvP people.
Yeah,
care
week
about.
3 will be the messenger. Week 4 will be the glaive. No, switch that. 4 is the glaive. 4 is the messenger. 3 is the glaive. Sorry.
Who is it that we talked to who had like thousands of kills with the glaive in PvP?
Yeah, it was somebody.
I have one, but
Amaze
was
has
back
like
when-
a level 1,000 glaive. Amaze, if you ever see
Jesus.
pictures of his glaive, his Enigma, the first one, he has like 1,000 level 1,000 with that thing. He's just
Damn.
Yeah.
Beasting.
There was a while where like immovable object, and I forget what the other one was, and it basically you were invincible unless if someone shot you with a wither horde. And I definitely for a couple of those weeks for trials, I may or may not have busted that out and ruined a couple people's day.
They contributed to the toxicity. Okay.
I'm gonna run through this trial stuff pretty quick, but basically trials labs, they tried different matchmaking. One of the things they had for high skill level people was lobby balancing was busted. People were like, this matchmaking sucks. They were right, it wasn't working correctly. So for the upcoming week 11, that will the fix will not be present, but in season 21 their matchmaking should be better. So they're trying to get away from a card state and more skill-based lobby. I probably misread that. All I know is like the people were like, hey, this new matchmaking we're trying. All my Twitter was like, this matchmaking is awful. Apparently it was busted. And in season 21 it is supposed to be fixed. So that should be better. Basically like lobby balancing was the main issue, I think, for a lot of people. So that should be coming with a fix. They also said if you get a flawless 7-win card, and you keep the card and you keep playing, you get a chance to get your adept weapons. So if you go flawless, hold on to the card, do not get rid of the card, and just keep playing, because after Sunday, then you can basically go for drops. And I think they said they're going to activate it from Friday onward. So truly, if you go flawless, you should not be getting another card.
Because the whole point of this is to remove the flawless pool, right?
Right. Yep. So they're
So
trying to
then you don't-
incentivize people to not get
so
more
you-
cards and start over.
So you don't have that whole thing of like you're going to keep your card until the flawless pool, and then if you keep playing in the flawless pool, that was the whole reward incentive. They're just smashing that together now. So
Now, my one
I think
question,
that's a better choice.
my one question I did want to ask: Dominion is going to be the new mode for trials. Mano, I don't remember hearing about the word Dominion.
I thought they made voting machines.
Well played. Anyway, moving on. Do you know Dominion is going to be the core game mode for Trials? Was this like something tested in labs I don't know about? It's not going to be elimination anymore. So I'm like, what is this mode? I honestly forget what it captured. Is it zone capture? Is that what they're calling zone capture, but just
It's
calling
like
it
King of the
Dominion?
Hill, right?
That's what I'm like, I missed the
Can't
mode
remember.
somewhere.
I remember that they mentioned at some point like that it would be a different like game mode. I don't know enough about it. Like it's just like it's another capture point zone thing. Again, I think that they're trying to mix things up instead of like constantly getting people that are like, hey, I'm just killing 3 people and we win. I think they're trying to incentivize more PvE players to get into the mode, to be honest with you, because as a guy that plays both, but I lean more into PvE, I do like objective game modes, like whether it's kill confirmed, aka supremacy, or capture the flag. I like those modes better instead of, hey, just go kill people. Like, I get it. Like, I don't know if it will incentivize the PvP community, because most of the time that of the people that I know who really enjoy PvP, they hate modes like that. I don't know how. I know Travis plays a lot of PvP. I don't know how he feels about it.
Yeah, that mode was super flawed from what I recall. There were like weird workarounds, but it was the one where the capture point moves and everybody's got to run and grab that
Right.
point to get points from that. But I don't remember the state it left in, but I remember when I was playing it, I was like, they didn't test this at all. Like there's a bunch of ways you could just like not engage with the point and make the match take forever, and there were just all
Build
these
up
issues.
super.
Like, yeah, I was like, wow, this is like not super well thought out. So hopefully it looks different than the last time I played it, which admittedly I avoided it since kind of the
Fallout.
beginning.
I watched Fallout's video. Shout out to
Yeah,
him
what's
getting
Fallout
a
say?
video out. He has questions.
Yeah.
He has concerns.
Yeah.
Because he's like, you're just gonna see more bubbles and wells and everything else if it's a capture point on anything. That's like, I mean, go look at Fortress. Like the 17 supers in 3 seconds, and it's just like it's a mess. And if you're just going for capture points, it leads into one style of play.
Yeah, that's my issue. I just don't like that the decision seems to be it's only that, right? I missed the mix, at
They
least
don't
the
alternate
balance
weekends or something.
Yeah, like
that's weird.
why the decision to remove the one for, and I saw some of the verbiage on it, and I don't know, man. Just like I like objective based modes too as a nice palette cleanse, right? I do like it, but part of Trials is the competitive nature of the mode, which is but that's what the spirit.
I was gonna say Trials. Travis is basically like, you should take the label of Trials off of this because it is not that anymore.
It has never been. It hasn't been Trials since it entered Destiny 2.
I'm just messing with you.
We know, but it's just, again, now we're really going away from like that. We're not gonna have the.
No,
we're not gonna have the 3 for 3.
I want everybody who likes Trials now to understand what I went through a couple years ago.
Yeah, you just want people to suffer. I know where you at.
It's an objective mode, and everybody wins. It'll be like
then you get the second law. Yeah, we know what's going on. Like hey, if you didn't go flawless, you get the 2 losses on the mercy card. Now you go. I know what's going on. It's the casualization of the mode. It's clear as day. I'm just curious why we couldn't alternate though. That's my only thing. Like why we had to eliminate
at least give an alternation. And honestly, I think that's going to be some feedback they get. I bet. I don't think it's going to take a full season. They're going to be like, all right, we're going to go and mix it up a little bit.
When Trials of 9 originally came out, didn't it rotate 2 or 3 modes?
Oh wait, did it?
I don't remember.
There was at some point when Trials of the 9 rotated between modes before the competitive.
He's right. Yeah.
That was at the beginning of Destiny 2 when it was Trials of the 9.
Right, that's what I meant. Sorry. That's why I said Trials of the 9. Yeah, Trials of Osiris was always 3v3, but when it was a 4v4 mode, and then it bounced between basically elimination, kind of elimination. What was the mode called? I can't remember.
Are you talking about the bomb one, the attack defense?
Yeah, there was like the bomb.
I forgot about those days.
That was the original mode, like when you played the beta. That was how it existed.
Right,
the comp mode.
Countdown, survival.
I give it like 2 years until Trials is a PvE horde mode.
Fair enough.
Seriously. I mean, that's where we're going.
Well, for those who want to be,
here's the path to it. In a year, you'll be fighting bots. They'll have an option. Or now you can fight bots.
Like Titanfall.
Like Titanfall or like Halo Infinite, the bot mode, right? And then they'll be like, people like that more. Let's just, it's a horde mode now.
Just bots in there.
Yeah.
For the high skilled PvP players, if you can go flawless without ever trailing in a match, you have to have Flight of the Pigeon for every victory. You will get a specific Trials emblem, and they're going to probably be doing those a little bit more along with the shaders, I think. So they're getting a little more PvP cosmetic incentives, but not a ton.
You had Step on at runtime, right? A couple weeks ago?
Yeah, did.
Did he talk about that? Like that was like his big push is to make it so that like PvP, high-end PvP, like the rewards are not necessarily the loot, it's the cosmetics, because that's what people will go for. It's a status thing. Like that's always been his big thing. That's what we talked about when we talked about that. And I completely agree with him. Like this is
it seems like Destiny or Bungie's afraid to even do that though, because I think that they see any FOMO as bad and they don't want their PvE centric game to have even cosmetics that the PvE community can't.
They did the comp emblem. They did the Ascendant comp emblem. So that was like
I think that was probably all they can get away with, though. That's like,
and then that was ruined because people
eased into it. That they did fix it like the same day, I think, though.
They're running for 2 days. And so there were a lot of people who have it that just like literally just left matches. They just ran it for 2 days.
That's absolutely the right thing to do, though. Like PvP should have exclusive stuff. There should be reasons to play PvP competitively and grind up those ranks and all that. But I think the even them adding one emblem was like a problem for a lot of people. So if they added more, I think people would lose their minds.
I enjoyed the Trials of the Nine when it was around. I enjoyed that when you went flawless, you got a piece of gear that was specifically, I forget if it was like channeling robes for the basic stuff, and now that's the stuff that's in Prophecy, and then I think it's like crushing robes. It was cool because like I like that. I think they should do more of that. Is they have like a basic trial set, but then when you go flawless, not only do you get an adept weapon, give them an armor piece that like is like super cosmetic and like let it be a cool thing. I think that's some way that you can help high-end PvP players feel good about doing that.
Yeah, they need to lean into that more, not less. Hopefully they will. Speaking of trials for the map voting, Disjunction tried to screw everyone over. I think there were people trying. Disjunction got 30%. See?
Next time.
Disjunction got 30%. Convergence got 29%. Rusted Lands got 41%. There are some people that just want to watch the world burn, and I think there were a lot of those on Twitter that were just trying to be
Two
like,
of them are here.
Yeah, I know. So it is Rusted Lands for this weekend. I won't be here, so good times.
That's the right option. God damn it.
It's a good map too. I remember playing that back in D1 and loving it too.
It's just got different play styles.
Yeah.
And that's basically
Junction would have been horrifying.
Yeah. I'm glad I would have missed that week, but
I don't want to watch the world burn, just trials.
Well,
I'm not going to be here this weekend. Let's vote for the worst map.
Lighthouse, right?
Yeah.
Lighthouse is on fire.
Mercury's on fire per se, but yeah.
Yeah.
That is all I got between the TWAB and the abilities update and Guardian games. Is there anything else for you guys this week? Next week is a really big, probably not happening. Mostly because you're out. I'm gonna be recovering.
Yeah, you're gonna be recovering.
I'm gonna be in recovery. Sinus surgery. It's not like a big worry. It's just probably one day after is probably not gonna be the time to have a podcast. That's all. So
he's gonna have lethal sinus surgery.
Lethal, yeah.
Lethal.
That's cool. So next week will probably be an off week, I think, unless just something happens between now and then. If it is something, it'll probably be pre-recorded. So, other than that, anything else for you guys? Mano, you got any thoughts, hopes, and dreams going into 21? Or are you just along for the ride like the rest of us?
I hope that the dungeon's awesome. I hope that like we get to farm it. I hope that it's got some really. Oh, I know we'll be able to farm it. I'm excited to do those things. I think I'm gonna kind of take it easy the next couple of weeks in terms of Destiny. Like I usually go pretty hard in the paint, but with my IRL stuff, I'm gonna try and like sit back a little bit more. Get back into the content creation thing, especially making videos on YouTube. But like I think the other thing is like I don't think you need to prep as much for every season. I think that it's a lot easier just to like, I don't need any more armor. Just like come as you are. I don't know. I think I'll probably look at just maybe, like I said, playing because Zelda's coming out. What is that? May
12th.
12th,
12th
yeah, it's not far.
next week. So that might take a little bit of my time plus some IRL stuff, but maybe take a little time off of Destiny. Guardian games, like I've got the weapons already because you like the torches, and
Yeah.
I'll get the seal. But I think doing something for a little bit, I'm kind of excited to maybe try Jedi Survivor, but I'd want to
so
Yes.
good. No,
Yes.
please play it.
Get on that.
Hell
Get
Very
on
good
that.
game.
Yeah.
I might play it on I might bust out I've got my PlayStation here. I might bust that out for that.
You should play it on console from my
Mhm.
experience. But yeah, it's a very good game.
I'm really excited for the dungeon to probably come out 1 or 2 days before Diablo 4 early access goes live, so I can just go and just maybe try and squeeze in, because I don't know, when did the last dungeon come out? It was week 2, right?
It was the weekend, I think.
I
'Cause
still
me
don't
and
have the
Ascendant
product on
Nomad-
that
Or was
dungeon.
it that Friday?
It was the Friday because they gave you.
That's
I want to say they
right.
gave you a couple of days to kind of experience. Well, and that way they
And-
kept you playing.
Yeah.
And then like the Friday came out, and then Friday at noon you could do the dungeon. And I think they took 1 week off of trials, and then they went hard the next week. So that it was like you could focus on doing the dungeon. You didn't have to go back and forth between doing trials and that. They might do the same thing. They might not. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just hoping to get my dungeon content done before Diablo, because I would like to jump into Diablo. Probably going to pre-buy the whole whatever edition, so that'll be a thing in June. But yeah, next week probably going to be off, and then being as we're off, we'll probably miss like whatever TWAB and whatever else drops next week for season preview, and then after that, probably our final TWAB before the season. Well, Mano, thank you for coming on. I know it was short notice, but thought I'd reach out and see. So glad to have you. Always a pleasure. You could literally be a fourth host half the time, and I feel like you fit right in. So always welcome on the show, buddy.
Appreciate you guys having me on, and it's always fun to chat with you, Travis, Cog, and E all the time.
Always.
Thanks everybody for having me.
Always.
Quick outros, guys. What do you got?
What you got, Trav?
What do I got this week? I wrote some stuff. Oh, I played Redfall. That game's bad. That game is very bad. I didn't review it for IGN. Somebody else had that reviewed, thankfully, but I did help with gameplay team. So I was playing with Destin Legary. He and I were playing Redfall together, and it was like.
And your progress didn't carry back to your game, of course, right?
My progress didn't carry back to my game. I had to play in his game every time and then get kicked back to my world where I didn't get any of my stuff. And yeah, it was horrifying. Don't buy that game. Jedi Survivor, though, is great. I'm playing that. I'm not doing any of this coverage. All the stuff I'm writing about, I can't talk about. But I am reviewing Diablo 4. That's I
Nice.
can't say that.
Nice.
I'm playing that game.
That'll be a whole bunch of work. So we'll be along to hear about that one as we go. See if we can even steal you away for a podcast during that time.
I think the embargo for that is Memorial Day, so I'm getting like a month early access on that, which is cool.
Nice.
So yeah, pretty cool. But yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at TyGuyTravis, and that's all I have to say. Happy May the 4th, McClunky.
I haven't heard that in a while.
Nice,
Long overdue. Early Trav. Yeah, man. Same thing. Just grinding away. Gonna go hard on Survivor. Really like the opening, really grabbed me. It's funny because I did a full playthrough of Fallen Order right before, and just to kind of refresh, and jumping into Survivor after that, I see the substantial jump. So my experience is like, what is everybody talking about? This looks amazing. Like, it's so much better than this last one, kind of thing. So I'm just
You know what else is what I love about Jedi Survivor? Something that I don't think anybody's talking about. I haven't seen anybody talk about it. In like every game, if it's a sequel, you have to lose all your powers and get knocked down. And
yes, I got my double jump. I got all my stuff.
Jedi Survivor takes nothing away from it and just adds onto it. So you just get new tools and new tools. It doesn't go like, you got to re-earn all of your abilities. Glad
you said that. It felt like a direct sequel. Yeah,
now, if they do it, if they make this, if they somehow, if Respawn can talk him into a third one, if they can somehow maintain like all the stuff that you unlock in this one to go into the next one, now that would be an impressive feat, because
the tool bag is
because
insane.
the tools that you have at the end of this one,
so much
that would be interesting to see what they could do. That I think would actually be a challenge, but I'd be curious to see.
I'm doing the stances, I'm doing like Jedi mind tricks, and just controlling the battlefield, and just the manipulation is just so impressive. So yeah, I'm ready to rock and kind of dive deeper. And then Redfall showed me all I needed to see.
Yep.
and right back Survivor as the program continued. So uninterrupted anymore. So that's what I mean. And then obviously Guardian games. I have been enjoying it.
Mano, where can they find any and all of your stuff, whether it's new or old, or hang out with you, all the good things?
You can find me at youtube.tv/ManoDestra777 or over on Twitch/ManoDestra or at the ManoDestra on Twitter. But yeah, we're just gonna keep grinding on some Destiny stuff. We'll see about streaming some other games like Zelda and things like that. But again, the frame rates might be oof. But yeah, that's where you can find me. And just keep. I'm really excited for the new dungeon. I love the dungeons.
Yeah, they're my favorite. You and me both,
dungeons,
man. You know, that's
secret
our
missions.
Yep.
That's our jam. We love those things. So I'm excited for that.
Solo dungeons. It's his favorite.
Yes, it's E-time. It's E-time.
Solo dungeon time. You know, we got to put our guides together and get them out like one day after each other. We always do. I swear, like, I'm like working on mine. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go hard and record today. And Manos pops up. I'm like, damn it, I'm a day behind.
See, I feel like that with Mactics. Like I'm working on a build video or something.
Oh,
and
that
then,
dude is
out.
Yeah.
He's a beast. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, yeah.
That's funny.
Ebontis everywhere. Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, but I'll be out for the weekend. So what'd you say?
He said,
IGN will not be doing a guide.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Because I did a guide for the raids, but you know, they were like what 3 weeks after the game came out. I think it was more than that.
Hey, if you want my guides written out or broken down anyway, just let me know.
Woo!
Yeah, we'll do.
You can outsource.
I'll make sure to, you know, I'll get them to hire me, and then I'll give you, you know, 80%.
80%. You're gonna take your finder's fee.
Otherwise, what motive do I have to do it? You know, like I just.
That's
no,
funny.
Their guides team doesn't do Destiny stuff usually because it
Yeah.
doesn't do well. Nobody cares.
All right. Well, thank you guys, everybody. Chat, you've been hilarious. Gentlemen, all of you guys have been fun to chat with again. Safe travels if you're traveling. Have fun gaming. Take care of the real life stuff. And for everybody, episode number 248. It has been the most ridiculous of last words.
Last words.